best hero, the Morphling. This is what, when Sumail and Yuar came into the NAC, and it was like all about Sumail Storm and Yuar Morphling.
A lot of magic damage against these high armor heroes of Terrorblade, Timbersaw, and DK, so I can see the shotgun potential.
Yeah, good against the TB in the game, too. The only thing with the TB versus Morphling matchup is TB farms so quickly.
Yeah. I think in this game, we will find out who has the real shotgun. Is it the Morphling? Is it the Snapfire? Real questions being asked.
Yeah, that's for sure. I thought you were going to continue with that, but no, that's it.
That's it. That's all I got.
Let's see.
To be more serious, I like T1's draft. This Morphling, they have enough burst damage. They have the lockdown. Also, Timbersaw should have a relatively free lane. It's going to be, again, a hoodwink, so it doesn't really do too much, as we've seen in the previous series. So, yeah, I'd say this is, in terms of numbers, 60-40 for T1.
I don't care about those numbers, Lacoste. I care about the cooldown of Scan. No, I didn't forget about you. You remember that DHL drop? Which one was it? Was it 150, 180, 210, 240?
Can we
Production. Yeah, what's your guess, Jenkins?
240.
You are correct.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey.
Just kidding. You got baited. How do you not know? You're an analyst on the panel.
He's never right. He's never right. We were going to a restaurant yesterday. And he's like, I remember a bridge. There's 60 bridges. This country's filled with bridges.
I remember a bridge.
And we didn't cross one.
Did we find the place or did we
We
not?
did, but it was total luck. It was completely luck. Do not trust this man.
210 seconds, exclamation point, DHL drop C. You're correct. Be sure to visit the URL, see where you are on the leaderboard. Now, I don't trust you on cooldowns, but I trust you on predictions. Jenkins, which team are you going for?
I'm going to go with T1. I think the DK makes their draft really easy to play.
Lacoste?
Same. 60-40, in my opinion, for T1. There we go.
60-40 is your number. Jenkins going 1-17 is his number. And I want to know 2,000, specifically UI and Suns fan with the cast.
Thank you, gentlemen. I would just like to say that Jenkins has no idea what he's talking about. Lacoste and I knew exactly where we were going the entire time. He just has no faith in human beings because he is, in fact, not one. Suns fan here with AUI 2000. Greetings.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome, Curtis, to this beautiful cast. This is the best of 3 between Quincy Crew and T1, a rematch of the Animajor. A lot of Quincy Crew fans, myself included, AUI, thought that they should have won that game 3. They were up by a decent margin,
I think,
and then lost.
honestly, I think T1 thought Quincy Crew was going to win that game 3, but they managed to claw it back as they do with so many games.
Yeah, T1
I mean, there's like supposed
really
to win and there's actually winning, right? You can't close it out, then that's it.
LOA.
Oh, he took
he is dead. First blood T1. Just right on cue. Praising Quincy Crew. And T1 gets it.
That was such a casual death, though, you know? He just sort of walked in there.
I feel like that's SVG's classic, though. Usually it's on the Abaddon, so he doesn't really care.
Yeah, but usually not like this early, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I didn't know that. When you respawn, you keep your fire spirits, because usually your respawn time's long, right? It's level 1. So you actually had 2 fire spirits respawn from it. Completely worthless info, but
that's a cool trivia question.
I guess if you buy back, then it probably still has it. You can TP in a fight with them still up.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Doesn't matter at all. That's
I mean,
my favorite part of Dota.
You're saying that ironically, I think, but that actually is my favorite part of Dota, is that these little like intricacies that make no sense sometimes.
No, that is my favorite part of Dota.
Yeah, I think it's cool too. Yeah, very, very cool. Okay, so talk about the lineups. Who do you like?
I think it depends a lot on this bot lane, but since Kuku got first blood, I'm gonna go with I like T1. The last time I saw this matchup was in Kazu was playing Timbersaw versus Nigma, I believe, and they 2-0'd them. He managed to kill iLTW in a matchup at level 1, and Morphling is susceptible. I also like what they're doing here. They're actually going aggro. Okay, I thought they were just blocking the wave so that Timbersaw could come down here, but an aggro trialing coming out.
Yeah. Talk to me about this. Is this, will you work hair? I mean, it's Phoenix position 5.
It's an aggro trialing, but he immediately lost control of the equilibrium. So that means that MSS on the Hoodwink should have to come down here very early. Phoenix and Morphling are very bad trialing heroes. You can see, like, they're just getting zoned out. MSS needs to TP now. Axe does out-farm Timbersaw in a 1v1, so they should just do it.
Yeah, and of course, we're just casting, well, me and Lacoste were just casting a couple Hoodwink matches for Alliance. They lost both in horrendous fashion. And I know you and I watch a lot of NA Dota. MSS, he is, I'm going to call him the guy that is trying to He's the one that's popularized this hero, I feel like. He's
Yeah,
the
I
first
think
one
so.
to pick it, basically, and he's had great success with it.
Yeah, we saw even Crit picking it up from his NA brethren at the Animator. I think he went like 7-0 in that game.
Yeah.
Looks good, but I don't know what's happening. I feel like the comms should have told MSS to come to bottom already. The camp's blocked, the lane's pushed. Your carry's getting free zoned out of the lane.
Yeah, Leslau still level 1, but this will give him level 2 at the very least. MSS probably going to be out of XP range there, but it's not an aggro try anymore for T1. As who is that? That's Whitemon that came to the top lane
Lion
now.
TV's top. I guess the idea was that they were gonna get the lane back against Timbersaw and zone him, but I don't feel like the impact's the same. No matter what you do to the Timbersaw this lane, when he gets level 3 and 5, he's still sitting in lane and farming. I do not think it's the same for Morphling. Sure, it's heavily reliant on getting a good start. Oh, and they get the worst small camp spawn. I think they need to remove the small camp. Every other camp can like deny creeps if you sort of half pull.
Yeah.
But this camp in particular, like even if you only pull the range creep, it won't kill the range creep. It's really dumb.
You're not a big fan of Kobold, huh?
No.
What if they give him a little bit more damage?
Yeah, I mean they
Give him
can
a little buff.
rebalance it.
Sure. I mean, it's the coolest model of all the small camps. I mean,
Sure.
he's holding a cup. He's
We can sort of compare like at top lane, Whitemon. I mean he does a very good connection here, but the small camp would have gotten 2 creeps into deny range, and then you look at this one bottom, and this melee creep's taken almost 100 damage, another one's taken 50 damage.
Yep, that is true. We see the meta into the cookie. LOA. This might be his second death of the game. Yep, that last right click from Zephyr. As meanwhile, top lane, Whitemon takes a tumble, so trades across the map on respective position 5s. And this is the lane we haven't really talked about. We've seen a lot of this at the Animator, the Puck versus the Dragon Knight. Because like for the most part, it's just, you know, the DK will survive, both will farm. Do you see it the same way?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, DK has some potential to take Puck's tower if Puck tries to rotate too much. I think we'll see Quinn Steel's bouncer and TP to take his own here, though, so that's pretty good for him. I think T1, how they set up their lanes with the aggro has just been fantastic.
Always watch me.
This Morphling, he's just getting completely shut down, whereas I think if you lane versus Timbersaw, usually Morphling has a pretty good lane and some timing to level 6.
Are fortified.
Leslau's getting pretty close at the very least to getting his Ring of Health, which will allow him to sustain a bit in lane.
He opted for the boost before Ring of Health, which I think is a good aggressive choice. They used that to kill Whitemon once, and it's already paid itself off in that. It's not like you can raise sustain versus Timbersaw anyways.
Yeah, but kind of what you're talking about here, the TB 19 and 11 CS versus the counterpart in Yuar 9 and 2.
Yeah, and
So
the
obviously not a
matchup,
good start.
the matchup used to be really more favored when you could ulti Terrorblade, and then you would use meta and go back into Morphling, and you would have meta while in Morphling form, and it'd be super strong. But they actually changed that, fixed it, I don't know what you want to call it, and now you can't do that. So the matchup it's pretty even now, I think. Maybe slightly more favored, but not with this start.
So why can't you do that though? Because if you have like Little Shredder, for example, that still applies when you turn
So
back to Morphling, right?
How that
Or
worked
Shadow
was
Realm as well.
before you would change back from Terrorblade in the transformation time of meta, and that would make you keep it. I don't know why or how they fixed it,
Yeah.
but they just changed it. Like a lot of Dota changes are just like that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, MSS pressuring Whitemon off the lane. Will not die, but with that Battle Hunger, just has to waddle his way back to the base. Yeah, tell me about the Morphling this game then. Is there anything that is this just going to be like a right-click Morphling or E-Blade Morphling, something like that, or you actually go for Ags at some point?
I don't think there's a reason for him to go to eggs.
You don't want to see the Axe with Shard? Double Axe Shard?
Oh,
I mean,
I
that's,
do. Wait,
cool.
like I want to see that, but do I think it's good? Right? Like, they're different.
that's true. Well, sometimes
I really want him to go there. I want him to go blink Manta and turn to Axe with eggs.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to. You have waveform. You don't need the.
No, you need the blink. You need to commit.
Okay, but I'm guessing the way it works is you get Shard on Morphling, and that means you get the whoever you copy
Yes.
Shard, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that is how it works. It's very good. I saw Morphling.
You see the bushwhack onto Whitemon. The double call, actually, but it's going to cost a couple lives. Quincy crew. Nice double kill there, essentially. MSS and both Leslau each take one for themselves.
A little bit uncoordinated from T1. I feel like their tower's not under any pressure. I don't know if they should feel like they have to deal with this Axe. I mean, he's at the strongest point. He just got his Vanguard, and they're sort of committing on him. I mean, he didn't have Vanguard there, but that looked very far from death.
Right. Well, now that he has it, it's going to be cutting that wave, and
Because they put so many resources top, though, like, I feel Morphling is catching up now, right? Like, that feels a bit awkward. You shut down this hero really hard, and now Savage is on his own here.
yeah, Carl's going to get the Dragon Tail. Whitemon with the Earth Spike, but here comes the coil from Quinn. First of the game into the bushwhack as well. Illusory Orb is enough to take out the Lion, but not enough to take out Carl. Another good kill there for Quincy crew.
Raindrops is a very good item, guys. Everyone buy it.
Yeah, I always forget it exists. I'm not going to lie.
Well, if you remembered, you gained 500 MMR.
500.
500 MMR. 5,000 MMR.
Okay, that's unrealistic.
50,000.
Leslie now taking out not only the wave, but some creeps as well. Cookie's going to be dodged from Quinn. Going to take the little shredder, though. Oh, it's a lot of damage. And with this haste rune, Zephyr secures himself the kill on the mid laner, Quinn.
That's an amazing play. One thing that I noted, when the two supports from T1 went top, something that they did that was really good actually was they managed to keep their wagon alive. So if Axe is cutting your wave,
oh wow,
I missed
23 Savage. Okay.
Yeah, I mean they left it alone to do this way, but they kept their wagon top alive, which means Kuku can pressure this tower a little bit. They basically traded like 700 HP on the tower though for Terrorblade's full lane dominance, and it ends up with Terrorblade dying. So I don't think overall
I've heard of a shooting
dying.
star,
I'm not
but
seeing it. I'm just bad at observing this.
That's fine.
Our obs are doing
We're
a better
catching
job.
enough to understand what's going on, but the thing I'm surprised by is that Cook 6 versus the Axe level 7. Leslau, he was behind by a full level before he took out some of those stacks along with those 2 kills. So he's having himself a great game after a bit of a rough start.
Well, they're going for the Timbersaw top here.
Yeah, Cuckoo has to worry here a bit. Fire Spirits are there. MSS looking for the bushwhack. Actually, Cuckoo eats the tree with that Quelling Blade to try to prevent it, but oh, we're gonna have a pot. What the horse happens here, AUI? We got a 3v1 surrounding Cuckoo.
He's gonna walk away.
Okay.
Because he used the Quelling Blade to cut the Acorn shot from MSS. It was very fast there.
Oh, I didn't even know that was the Acorn shot.
You said that before he did it. Because I think I don't know, he tangled or something, a tree?
No, he Quelling Bladed a tree because I think he was trying to prevent the bushwhack onto the tree.
And it came off
I didn't see the
again.
second one, yeah.
Yeah, he just uses 4-second cooldown here. He shot it right as MSS was putting the Acorn shot down to stun him with bushwhack, and I think that
we can see it
potentially was
here.
a kill. What tree did he?
All right, he didn't kill it. I just made it up.
He used Timber to cut it.
Yeah, I just had the premonition here.
Look at
that this was going to happen.
Boom! That's an Intel replay right there.
That's right. That is very true. This is not an Intel replay, though. This is a choppity chop for Leslau. So with the rotation from Quinn, able to secure themselves. You were wrong, by the way. That's minus points on that one.
No, I have full vision, but I'm showing why we're not playing because I didn't know this puck was coming at all. And it's a very good rotation by Quinn.
Yeah.
And there's a reason we're casting, right? Like.
Yes, this is true. This is true. All right, well, Quincy Crew.
Wait, this puck. Do you see this puck's net worth?
Yeah, Quinn is not having a hot
score
game.
by far. What happened?
This is not normal for him, that's for sure.
This Dragon has 53 to 23 CS. He's just dumpstering Quinn mid.
Yeah, that's... Whew.
And Carl, his laning has been extremely impressive at the Animager.
We're gonna get the Waning Rift here into the Invis room, but Carl still pressuring the tower. And with that minus armor from the little Shredder, this is gonna be a lot of damage applied here. And with very little resistance from Quincy Crew.
We can't see though. Lelis he just sort of dragging the creep waves into the initial camps, which is why he's so. And he has 77 CS.
Can you stop saying Lelis? I kept calling him Lelis at the major.
What am I calling him?
Well, it's Leslau now. He changed his name, but it's just really hard for me to be on the same page.
I'm sorry.
Because I'm trying to get myself off of saying Lelis.
They keep changing their names. It's very annoying.
SVG, aka LOA. That's just too much for me.
MSS used to be Mojo Stormstar.
But that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but I still call him Mojo.
That's fine. I mean, that's what it stands for. I think that's still technically accurate, right?
It is very hot here sometimes.
Yeah. Leslau will be getting the Blink Dagger on the way. This is a 9-minute Vanguard Blink, my friend. That is pretty insane timing.
That might be one of the fastest we've ever seen. It's 5.3k net worth in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
For sure.
I wonder who they want to kill with it, because Deke is very tanky, and Timbersaw's hard to kill. I think their option probably wants to be 23 Savage, but you can Zephyr. He's already sort of set up here to save that Terrorblade. They know that something's coming.
And Carl now in the jungle here. We can see some Quincy Crew members on their way up there. Leslau joining that Blink now. We have some TP support from Mr. Timbersaw. Actually, we'll commit to it, but Quincy Crew already out.
It's a Blink reveal, but I think Quincy Crew aren't too sad with that. At least they forced out the TP. Now if they attack the bottom side of the map, Timbersaw won't be able to get there. Yeah. A good reaction from T1 though. Dodging a 9-minute Blink Dagger Vanguard on Axe is a very important.
Yep, that's true.
Ooh,
you're right. The targets for them to go for are kind of difficult to kill for the most part.
Yeah, I like this though. They have their timing, so they're playing around their wagons, right? They just smoke to mid. I think the book should be coming for LOA here. That's his level 6, and now they have their full timing.
And for their opening here, Zephyr might be the target if they can see him. They'll take anything they can get at this point. And they don't see him, which is a major issue. So it looks like he will survive, and they're not going to get much out of it.
A
At least
bit of
not
an
yet.
awkward smoke. The ward was on Phoenix and not in the smoke, so they just sort of walked across the entire map into their jungle defensively and didn't find anything. However, one thing that's going for them is that does secure Morphling a lot of time to farm. He's basically caught up with Terrorblade, and when you consider the starts, like I think he's pretty happy with that.
Yeah. This 6-4 start here for Quincy Crew as we see a disconnect coming out. Yeah, who would you give the edge to based on what you've seen so far in the game? Is it tip the scales in your opinion at all, or are you still sticking with your original?
I think it's completely based on teamfight execution. Like if Quincy Crew get a good egg, they have the spell to protect it, both the bushwhack and the call. You can see them bait a really good fight.
Right.
However, like if T1 they're able to execute, sort of split the fight a bit. They do have better lane shove with the Terrorblade and the Timbersaw. I think they can end up being very strong in these fights, especially since they do have that Snapfire with the low shredded Dakota egg. I think overall I'd slightly favor T1, but I don't think it's like 51-49 type of close, you know?
Oh,
I don't.
wow.
I'm not smart enough to have any real opinion on it.
Yeah, that's pretty typical from any analyst, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's.
I'm used to working with Cinderin, so I get that all the time, obviously. Goes without saying. Yeah, MSS now level 6. And yeah, the biggest concern from Quincy Crew's side is Quinn himself and the farm. He has fallen quite behind, like you said.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
He's made some
Made
good
up a little
moves
bit of
against
ground
us,
now,
right?
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point it looked really rough, but after that kill on the Timbersaw top,
Yeah, initiation from Leslau. We see the Fire Spirits coming with the waveform as well. Zephyr will be chopped down by Leslau. The adaptive strike, Cuckoo. I don't think they have enough damage to world. Oh my god, that damage. Doesn't have enough to actually finish anybody off here yet, but will likely have enough to force Quincy Crew out.
look at Leslau. He's making this fast play to top. Instantly kills bottom. Is already TPing top to make another play.
Okay, Quinn, he's gonna pop that coil to start things out. Leslau looking for the initiation, but the instant Dragon Tail. Breathe fire to follow, but here comes the egg. They don't have any lockdown to secure this, so T1's just gonna casually run away. Carl TP's out successfully, but at the very least for Quincy Crew, will be a tier 1 tower. Whitemon TP's out as well.
I don't know when those trees got
Radiant's
cut,
middle
but
tower is under attack.
whatever cut them, probably Timbersaw.
Dyer's
Probably just with
tower is
the
under
precognition. You know, he knew that Axe was coming. He pre-clicks a stun, and it's a good gank dodge right there. They do end up getting into tower, so both sides, I think, like morally, I think you're pretty happy with it on the other side. I was going for the Lincolns. They do have a Dragonair Lion, so that does make
Radiant's middle
sense.
tower is under attack.
Cuckoo's gonna run into Yawar here. So Yawar trying to defend this tower.
They can get him. They have finger.
Yep, absolutely. He actually attribute shifted there, but it's not gonna be enough. Finger of Death from the shadows. Whitemon. Nice pickup there for T1.
Radiant's bottom
These teams have
tower
just been
is under
very
attack.
fast at moving around the map. We saw like some, you know, they call bottom, they're already streaming top. The line's already setting up and DK's pre-killing, and instantly line gets to bottom after that top play. I don't know what path he took, or I didn't see if he smoked, but they do have a lane ward for Radiant, so I'm sort of,
Radiant's
I
bottom
I should have seen
tower
it, but I
is under
didn't,
attack.
fortunately.
I'll give you a little tip as an analyst. Don't admit that you didn't see something. Just make something up and people will believe you.
That's true. I have watched Mr. Kylecast. He doesn't very... free is free,
Makes
you know,
a
you
career
gotta
out of that
take
for
those.
sure. Yep, Quinn
Radiant's
bouncing
bottom
back a bit
tower
here.
is under
He has
attack.
his Witch's Blade, and he's caught up to DK and farm.
Yeah, pretty close. Only 300 off.
Oh, DK has a
Dyer's
Midas.
structures are
Poggers?
fortified.
Really? Okay. I like that. We see the MSS initiation here into nothing, just pressuring a little bit here.
Dyer's
3
middle
minutes
tower
faster
is
than
under
average
attack.
on this patch, out of only 10 matches, so a little bit of a
Radiant's
small
bottom
sample
tower
size.
is under attack.
Leslau not able to get the
Radiant's
Berserker's
bottom
call
tower
off.
has fallen.
Now they have to be careful. T1, Cookie actually will connect onto Quinn, and here comes the Phoenix. Coil is applied, but Quinn just takes too much damage. Coil's gonna get snapped here. MSS gonna get clipped by a couple of these kisses. We'll see if T1 can clean up anybody else here. Courier trying to get him baited here, but it looks like
Radiant's
MSS might
middle
fall
tower
as
is under
well.
attack.
Oh, he gets off the sharpshooter to get a little bit of a distance there, but it's not gonna be enough.
And really good
Meanwhile-
play by T1 here. Just going for the mid tower when they force all the Quincy Crews
Radiant's middle
heroes
tower
back.
has fallen.
Yeah, T1 looking really good. 2K net worth lead at 14 minutes now for them.
I saw this a lot from Miracle where he would go like 4-4-0, take the talent at 10. And I'm actually sort of glad that Quinn got punished there for that, because I don't think Puck should be allowed to do this. If he had Space Shift there, he 100% dodges that stun and lives.
Yeah, it does seem like a pretty greedy build.
Dyer's
And
top
I mean,
tower
Miracle,
is
the
under
game that I
attack.
saw, it worked out for him. but then I saw it another game afterwards, and they got punished pretty hard.
Yeah,
So
it's very risky, and I mean, I don't mind 4-4-0, but taking the 10 talent as well seems. Do you really need 25 damage? You're clearing creep waves in 2 spells anyways. Sort of my idea.
Behold!
Yeah, perhaps a little bit of regret there. Does have the level of phase shift now, though.
Leslaw's going for that Manta build. So he's identified that perhaps because Yawar and Quinn have both not had that good games, they need a little bit more damage to come out. The pure damage is very good against all 3 of the cores on T1, right? They're typically very tanky, high armor heroes.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. But as we talk, the league continues to grow in favor of T1 just slightly. Cuckoo extremely tanky at this point of the game. And from Quincy Crew's perspective, are you waiting for something specific? Do you actually want to wait for the full Manta shard on Leslau?
I'm not
like, what are your
sure.
pickoff potentials here?
So they just finished their Lincolns on
Dire's
Morphling.
bottom
So that
tower.
should give
First
them...
item Lincolns, wow.
Yeah, it's against Lion and DK, so I think it does make a bit of sense. Ooh, Lion setting up on Yawar again.
Yeah, well, that's going to show that the Lincolns is there, and Whitemon now will attempt to run away. But LOA in the vicinity, no stun, of course. Adaptive Strike is there into the bushwhack. Whitemon will fall.
Honestly, that was a really small play from Quincy Crew, but that was pretty sick synergy. Like, MSS predicted that Yawar was going to cast the push, and he aimed his bushwhack based on that push. So I don't think it was hitting on the
Dire's
TP.
middle tower is under attack.
I think Quincy Crew right now, they need to find a way to push lanes a bit further so they can see their move options. Or if they get a pick off like this, then they can pressure a tower. The Lincolns on Morphling helps with that a lot. You can push lanes further than he otherwise would have been able to.
And Quinn and company take out that tier 1 mid. But yeah, this Lincoln's pickup, that is an old school build on Morphling, I have to say.
It is.
As Whitemon, we can see the impact move here. Double stun, essentially.
That was a big impact move.
Indeed. Man, MSS looks so good.
He does. He's worked a lot on his image, I think.
Yeah, I need
Very
to do the
sexy.
same. Take some inspiration from him. But yeah, talk more about this Lincoln's, because this is super old school. This used to be like the first item you pick up on Morphling literally every game for like 5, 6, maybe even more years.
Yeah, I think from like Dota 1 days
Dota
all
1.
the way to like 2015, 2016, you would just
Yeah.
go Lincolns and Morphling. The idea was that you needed a lot of mana regen back then because attribute shift costs a lot more mana back then. With them increasing how much mana it costs, maybe that's part of what's bringing it back.
Wait, have you seen it more than this game?
What? Lincolns?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of Lincolns.
First item?
Yeah.
Really?
Against single target disable. Like right now, if you look at the map, like what does he have to fear, right? It's just Lion and DK. I mean, DK went Midas. He's probably expecting him to go Blink and try to go for him. But it sort of makes sense in that sense. You saw that even though Lion procced it with the Hex into stun, like Yawar still got his Morph off. So even to more heroes, he would have lived. Just gives you a little bit of a window.
Yeah, even if there's a way for them to pop it easily, it just gives him that extra split second.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Blink Hex that's the fastest initiation in the game.
Yeah, it's
Can't really
instant cast.
counteract
I mean, Whitemon can probably, like, if he impales from Fog into a Hex.
Oh, we have a coil to start things out here on Zephyr. He's on the outskirts here. Looks like he's going to get taken out.
They got us.
That Sunray from LOA. Yawar was TPing, canceled it though. Okay. Now he's getting pinged by somebody, but
They know exactly where he is, and they know that he canceled his TP. So I expect T1 to bring a lot of heroes here.
okay.
They do have Lesla already set up in the area. He's sort of acting as a barrier. Line from behind.
And Whitemon is actually by himself. And here comes the TP, Carl. And that dragon from Lesla with a nice Berserker's Call onto 2. And they're just going to blow up Whitemon as a result. It looks like Quincy Crew ready for that, like you said.
Yeah, Lesla, he played that fantastically. He knew that Morph was a little bit vulnerable, especially since he expended his TP, and he was just ready there. That was like perfect execution from the Lion, right? You come from an unexpected angle, you pop the Lincolns, and you instantly hex, but it still wasn't quite enough.
Van Brace picked up on the TB. It's a pretty good one. What are you hoping for tier 2s?
For Terrorblade?
Yeah.
Van Brace is good. Let me take a look. I really like Aquila because I like mana regen.
Okay.
And I think Pupil's Gift is very solid. Like any of the Essence Ring, Pupil Gift, and Nethershaw, they're like very solid defensive options. But I think Van Brace and Quicksilver are probably your best farming ones. Aquila, Van Brace, and Quicksilver. Close fine too. Honestly, all the tier 2 items are pretty solid right now in Dota.
Yeah, I think they're quite balanced,
Dire's
actually.
top tower is under
Fairy
attack.
Trinket, on the other hand.
That is a good one. Possessed
Yeah.
Mask as well.
Lesla has the Yasha. Of course, not 20 minutes yet. Seems See if he goes for the shard before actually finishing the Manta.
Quincy, they want to go in here.
Yeah, they sure do. Kuku puts himself potentially in harm's way. Berserker's Call is there with the Sunray to follow. And that is going to be a very easy kill onto Kuku. And even the Mortimer's Kiss is coming out from afar. Yeah, and they know that that's down, so that's yet another spell that they don't have to worry about for this potential Roche take. And even Quinn is going for Lincolns.
Yeah, it's just a really good item this game. It's hard to initiate onto these. Like, if you give Puck enough time to phase shift, he'll get that off. You give Morphling enough time to morph or live, right? Yeah. You just need a little bit of time. Also, I really like the Morphling versus Timbersaw matchup. I saw this once. I think it was Ame versus Beast Coast at the Major. I can't quite remember. But he was Morphling against the Timbersaw, and at level 6, he just solo killed him. Because the Whirling Death is so good against these strength heroes, like Timbersaw. And this Aegis has really swung the momentum of this map. Aegis means that you can push lanes further than you otherwise would. You can sort of take areas that normally you wouldn't deserve. And if you get map control with Quincy Crew's lineup, I think it's very easy for them to find kills.
Yeah. Aegis online, like you said. E-Blade is almost done for Yawar, about 800 away from that bad boy.
He is so farmed now, considering his start. I mean, Terrorblade is 2,000 above him, which blows my mind. But considering Morphling's start, I thought he wouldn't be able to get into this Dota game.
Does that really blow your mind, though? I feel like we've seen Terrorblade literally every game throughout the Major until now.
That's true.
And he always farms
It
well.
doesn't really blow my mind, but I just saw Morphling's items like, wow, that's really farmed, and I didn't see Terrorblade's network after.
That's true. Okay. Well, Lesla has the Manta. Now just needs that shard for this huge power spike. I'm not sure if they're actually going to wait for it because he's still pretty strong right now.
I think you have the Aegis. You should push forward on the map. Try to get your line as forward as possible. They do have the BKB on Carl, but it feels a bit awkward. Like these last, like maybe 12 minutes for T1, because you don't have a blink on your initiator, your Dragon Knight. It doesn't feel like they've been able to do anything but sort of react to what Quincy Crew is doing. As a result, they sort of lost that lead that they built up early. Also, I have not been liking the Midas pickups at this tournament.
Really? The Invoker or Midases have felt pretty good.
Invoker makes sense. Like, I mean, some of them are good, but I saw like Tundra, they bought 3 Midases. I did not like that.
I mean, that game was that was a weird one.
That was not
to be
good.
fair. Yeah. So tier 2 towers down. MSS, by the way, position 4 Hoodwink has a Maelstrom coming. Obviously synergizes really well with the Acorn Shot, but it's more that he's position 4. Talk to me about why he picks this one up. That's awesome.
I have no idea.
I mean, I don't think I've seen him pick that up once in the NADPC.
Yeah, they need more damage, I guess, and he's building it. Maelstrom's very good against, again, there's 3 high armor cores on T1, and they're all sort of tanky. I mean, Terrorblade's a tanky hero with Dragonlance, SMY, and Tiscati, right?
Right.
So maybe they just feel like they lack damage a little bit more, and then you can E-Blade people, sort of deal.
You see the double TP out here from T1 into their base, so Quincy Crew won't find anybody initially, but now into the enemy triangle.
Yawar's really far from this fight, though. I don't know if Quincy Crew can take a fight here. They should hold a hill, just push waves from this area.
And now there's the Blink Dagger on the DK, so some initiation coming the way of T1 as this game, again, very even game so far, and kind of to be expected considering that the 3-game series for them in the Animajor went all 3 games.
Actually, I'm trying to think about this Maelstrom, because it's not for lane shove. Wait, one smoke in here?
And MSS going to get clipped by the Chakra. We can see the DK ult is popped. Carl does get the stun out, and MSS will be the sacrifice for Quincy Crew. If they just get out with that, they'll take that, I believe, any day of the week. But a lot of chase potential. Kuku with the Timber Chain Chakram. They're going to find Leslau potentially. Actually misses the Timber Chain, but still lots of damage to come on top of this. They blow up the Terrorblade instantly. What? Holy Jesus. The egg pops on the sideline. They're going to find yet another kill, this time on Leslau. So it's a 2-for-1. 23 Savage. I can't believe that he dropped that fast. Yawar turns into Mr. Timbersaw himself. They're going to find Zephyr in the trees. With that Sunray will ensure that they get their 3rd kill of this engagement.
Look at Quinn. He's getting his revenge tips in. He's been being tipped all game.
At first, when I saw Terrorblade die, I thought it was an illusion. It died.
Yeah, he didn't get wand off.
I had to do a double take.
Agitreads and Agi Vanbrace. Maybe he should go onto that strength Vanbrace. They just did so much magic damage to him. I think potentially that 10% magic resist could have taken him a lot.
Yeah. In the meta here, as we can see. Let's see how fast he goes down here. Boom! E-Blade with the Sunray. Yeah, that is, whew. That's rough stuff.
Yeah, but why is Mojo getting Maelstrom to do so much damage? Maybe it's some like foresight that I don't quite see right now, I guess.
Well, you can ask him, I mean, you're friends with him. You can text him later and ask.
Usually I only message him that I'm reporting him, so we'll see.
Okay, yeah. You're very mean to him indeed. We see the E-Blade, Sharpshooter to follow. Not enough damage to take out Take out Cuckoo on the Timber Saw.
Dire's structures are
The
fortified.
tier 2 tower now taking heavy
Dire's
damage, but the
middle tower
fortification
is
will be
under
popped by
attack.
T1.
I've been seeing a lot of this Yo Scepter versus Hoodwinks just so you can self-purge it. I saw it on the Tidehunter earlier on this tournament. But we should note that because of that, you don't have a Lotus Orb to sort of get that Ethereal and Silence off your Terrorblade. That's part of the reason why he died in that bottom fight.
Oh, Carl is actually forced to pop his BKB and TP out.
Radiant's top tower is
Be
under
successful.
That's almost as a shard too. 200 gold, and that's a strong axe timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so he's going to have that aggressive counter helix essentially. It's basically like having two separate counter helixes because they don't share cooldowns as well. Quinn is going to be spotted out here. Reflection on him. They're not going to be able to hit the Earth Spike. Quinn, now he's just dancing with T1. Actually has to pop the coil just to ensure he gets
attack.
out.
Radiant's middle tower is under
I thought he
attack.
was dead there because I thought he was gonna have to turn to Blink in the Timbersaw ulti. But Quinn with the 3000 IQ play, he just goes forward, pushes past them, and silences and coils to get out.
Really, you need 3000 IQ to do that.
Yeah, I've seen your puck.
That's not true. I haven't played puck in
haven't seen your
years.
puck, but I can imagine it.
That's true. Yeah, I can only imagine as well. Quite
I've
bad.
seen my puck, so, but that's like a 40 IQ one. So
Yeah, makes sense.
23 Savage, he's going for the BKB, but I feel like his
Are
items.
scanning.
I mean, Scotty is really good against Morphling, but they feel a bit defensive.
Radiant's bottom
Like, I don't know
tower
if they have
is under
damage
attack.
if they're having to fight into Quincycoo's lineup. Like Quincycoo are gonna group up around like some coil egg, and normally you need a lot of damage to push through that.
So what would you go for here? Because, I mean, in that last fight, if he had BKB, he still would have probably gotten initiated on pretty low, but the BKB ensures that he gets Sunder off there probably, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like an itemization problem or just it's like this is just how the lineup goes. Maybe you have to wait for one more item after BKB. Because I look at his items, like you want each of these items, right? Like they make sense. SMI, the Dragonlance, the Scotty, the BKB, they all make sense. It's just he doesn't feel like he's a 16k net worth hero in this game.
Yep, not yet at least. We'll see in this next upcoming fight. BUR going for a BKB of his own, but here's the initiation from Carl. Dragon Tail, you can see the Sunray from afar, healing up Leza pretty nicely. Is the Finger of Death going to be enough? The Hex to follow, and indeed, he took literally every kiss there from Mortimer. Took a while, but Leza does die. Looks like it's going to be a trade, though. Able to take out Whitemon. Quinn, though, takes the Dragon Tail to follow. Oh, boy, that's not what he wanted.
Tips
Was
going
looking
back
for
to
a
Quinn.
pick and run, but not able to run that time.
I feel like I've seen this so many times this tournament. Like the offlaners, they just think they're super tanky and they play in the middle of the map with not enough
Dire's
backup.
top
Like
tower
with only a
is
Phoenix
under
behind
attack.
you, he literally got hit by
Radiant's
5
middle
heroes there.
tower
You're
is
not
under
going to
attack.
survive.
Yeah.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Especially not against a type of hero like Timbersaw who can just eat right through you.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, like they use Finger, they use every Mortimer's Kiss on him. And he doesn't have a cloak or anything, right? Like
Radiant's
maybe if he
middle
has a
tower
cloak or a
has
hood,
fallen.
but he doesn't really have a tanky build.
Oh, that's interesting. He actually got the Mindbreaker on Axe.
25 attack.
Does that apply to? Does the silence apply to the illusions? You know?
No, illusions do not get the active from it, but they do get the 25 attack speed, which is nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Mindbreaker's
now
sort
with
of a
Char.
weird item.
What's that?
Mindbreaker feels like a weird item. I think it's a. It's like
That's
only.
a Pango item right there.
Yeah, it's good on
Tell you
Pango
what.
and Wind Ranger, right? But I don't know.
The silence can be pretty clutch, but yeah,
It can be, but it's
situational.
awkward to use.
Yeah.
You compare it to like the Titan Sliver or a Paladin Sword or whatever you want.
Yeah, they're always
Spider
good,
legs.
basically. Spider Leg is literally always good. That's the
Yeah.
problem with that one. I mean, do you think that if it was literally just boots, wouldn't it still be good?
Like without the
Like
active?
literally just regular boots. Yeah. That would be still an item you use like in the tier 4 stage for some heroes, right?
It would be, but I wouldn't be happy when I saw it because part of neutral items is like buffing up your current power spike, right? Like that's why Fairy Trick is so good. It's because it's good for the time of the game it's at.
Roshan has fallen.
It's another
to
free
the
Roshan.
Yeah.
They identified that they use
Ooh,
metamorphosis.
Quinn takes the shard. Okay. So this will give 70 bonus damage to Waning Rift and knock people back 250 distance. So it sounds cool in theory in terms of like synergizing with Dream Coil, but in practice, I haven't really seen it be too successful.
It used to get bought a lot when it was 100 damage because you would just buy it for the damage. But to be honest, Phoenix already bought his, Axe already bought his. Phoenix is like a negative, I think. Like it's not even a shard, and I don't think Yawar cared about
The
his.
decoy?
Radiant's
He
Yeah.
was just like the last one left
is
to
under
take one.
attack.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a good point.
That
I didn't
decoy is
realize somebody
actually
had that one.
awful.
Dire's top tower is under
Could be
attack.
game winning. You never know.
Yeah. If you
in
if
low-level
you
buffs.
cast a spell on it, it might stun you for 1 second.
Yes. Maybe if it was a regular bushwhack and not a lesser one. But yeah, it will be. I mean, But the Waning Rift also will reveal invisible units, including wards in the area, which is kind of cool. So kind of a Zeus treatment to some degree. Yeah, majority of Quincy Crew do have the shard, like you said. So smoking up, 3K network lead now for them. Leslie looking for the initiation. Dragon Form spot, that's the Aghanim Scepter on Carl. He is very hard to kill. He's actually going to jump and actually successfully get the Dragon Tail. Morphling gets blown up. That's just the Aegis, though. Leslie jumps in to try to save him, but that's not enough heal from Leslie. Yawar, in the meantime, pops his BKB, trying to kite 23 Savage, but the damage is just out of control now. The BKB's out of charges now as Yawar attempting to run away with that Scotty applied into the Chakram, and Yawar looks super dead. Gets the waveform up just in time. He's barely going to live with the attribute shift coming through, but Quincy Crew still loses too, and Carl, full HP, beast mode, man. Man, he looks strong.
I think 2 times in that fight, Carl was able to pop a Lincoln to get the Dragon Tail stun off just because of this neutral item. Psychic Headband. Very clutch play by him.
Yeah, that's an instant Lincoln's breaker.
And this it's paying off, you know. I didn't like how it looked in the game, but at this point, once you have the Aghanim's, he looks like a beast.
Yeah, now with the Scotty online, it's pretty good against a Morphling type hero.
That fight did feel a bit disjointed for Quincy Crew, right? Like they had the Aegis, so Yawar was sort of positioning aggressively. But Leslie, he goes in to save him, and the egg is like out of range of the Morphling. He can't even sunrate him.
Go!
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, Leslie jumped in to try to save him as if there wasn't an Aegis, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like he's going in. I think maybe he could have benefited from baiting that Aegis a bit, but it's hard to say. I mean, he ends up calling a DK, so it looks a bit silly.
I mean, with that, it's still only a 1K network lead for T1, so the game isn't like completely in either team's favor. But that was definitely a nice power spike. Getting rid of that Aegis is pretty huge. Still the cheese available on Quinn right now, as he's going for a Desolator, it looks like. And in terms of T1 items, Cuckoo has the Sange Kaya with the Yule's Pipe, going for a Lotus Orb right now. And we talked, of course, already about Carl and his Aghanim Scepter. We'll be going for an Assault Cuirass on top of that. And the big boy, 23 Savage, is actually going for Satanic before the Daedalus. So we've talked about this build a lot, just kind of being cookie cutter. Typically, you'll see the Daedalus come before this. What are your thoughts on going for the tankiness?
Yeah, I think he has a different read on the game than I did initially. I think his read's actually correct. Because once I saw that fight, like Carl and Cuckoo are dealing a lot more damage than I thought they would. So his idea is like, they have these 3 tanky cores. If he gets to a point where the damage on Quincy Crew runs out, because Puck's damage will run out, right? It's very spell-based. Morphling is based on E-Blade, and Axe is based on like this one Manta Claw. If they can survive through that, he thinks he can win any team fight. Like, I can completely see that happening.
And well, T1 all together now, basically, in this Quincy Crew jungle. Still 8-second BKB on 23 Savage. See the 20 strength talent taken for Carl. We've talked about that talent before. Right, do you actually have a preference on that talent versus the Elder Dragon or the attack range?
If you're buying Blink, I think you should always take the strength. Like you're blinking on top of them to use your 400 range stun. I don't see why you would take attack range. It has to be like very specific.
We did see that talent a lot in the Animator, actually.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Like maybe there's some reason I just don't understand. Maybe for sieging high ground is better. That would probably make sense.
And Leslie has a BKB of his own now. That is a pretty, in conjunction with the Desolator on Quinn, pretty nice timings here for Quincy Crew, but the game is dead even. Second rush already down, so waiting for this third roast potentially. It'll have either the Aghanim Scepter or the Refresher Shard, which both teams would be more than thrilled to take. Typically, the second rush decides the game. I want to say like 70% of the games. Not the case here.
Yeah, this game has been very even. I like how both teams are sort of identifying the status of team fights. Like you can see Quinn, he's going for a Desolator. He needs more damage, and you can see 23 Savage, he's going for Satanic, saying like, you don't have enough damage.
Right.
Now he has a DD room, so it doesn't matter what items he has, he's gonna smack.
All right, I need to hype this item up a bit, Mr. AUI. We got Mr. Leslie working towards an Aghanim Scepter, one of my favorite ags in the game. Gives you lower cooldown of Berserker's Call. Anybody you Berserker's Call gets Battle Hungered, and anybody you Battle Hunger gets -7 armor stolen from them and given to Axe. So with the Desolator on top of that, they have a lot of minus armor.
That's some cool synergy.
Yeah, I absolutely love this item. It's not really an item you can get that early, but
it's a good item for sure. I don't really have much else to say about it other than that.
Just
It's
agree with
solid.
me. That's all I care
Yeah,
about.
I think normally it is designed to be like synergized with blade mail because you would remove the armor and do more damage to blade mail. But no one's buying blade mail, so instead he's synergizing it with his allies, which I like to see.
Under
Alright.
attack.
All right, Carl in the trees. 23 Savage beating on the tier 3 towers. Already at half HP, and Quincy Crew have to scurry back to defend.
And T1 they did a good job during that
Dyer's
push of like
attack.
cutting the mid wave with all the terrible illusions. We saw EG when they were playing against Nigma, like we saw a similar push with Nigma where they 5-man top, and EG did the same smoke as Quincy now. You get forced to the base, you have lane control in some other lanes, you smoke out. However, T1 they have a lot more information than Nigma did this game just because of how they're shoving lanes.
We have many players smoked right now.
Ooh, they see a lot of T1 on their ward though.
23 Savage is so enormous right now. Carl, in the literal sense, is enormous, but goes back to his worthless human form. Who's going to show in lane. And again, kind of the issue for Quincy Crew this game is that T1's heroes are just so hard to jump because they're so ridiculously tanky in general. Both with Timber. I mean, even the Terrorblade at this point.
Terrorblade has 3.5k HP with a paladin and sword. And the
Radiant's
stuns,
top
I mean, you have a
tower
call,
is
but
under
your
attack.
follow-up isn't really casual because T1 have ways to cut that hoodwink bushwhack tree. Just, you know, Timber Saul's ultimate.
Radiant's
And yeah, top lane pushes in because T1 were able to like leave illusions around the map, and they know exactly where Quincy Crew are.
Dyer's structures are fortified.
And you can see Zephyr on the Snapfire has his shard as well, so that's the Scatter Blast stun.
Radiant's top tower is
Oh,
under
with a blink
attack.
dagger too, so he's a good catch hero.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really powerful shard. Big power spike for him. But Scotty now online for Yawar, so he's starting to get pretty beefy himself. His car back into that dragon form, forcing TP's back again from Quincy Crew's side. But again, did that
Dyer's
work?
bottom
Like we're not
tower
seeing
is under
either team
attack.
kind of run away with this at all, which surprises me too a little bit, to a small degree here. I feel like T1 has, feels like at least, more map control,
Radiant's
but
top
apparently not the
tower
case.
is under
They
attack.
just had to play really tight. I think the reason why we haven't seen Leslie get any pickoffs with this like Link Manta with the shard is just because T1 are playing very like
Dyer's
solid.
bottom tower
They're not
is
really.
under
I think
attack.
they believe in their scale. Maybe if you
Radiant
play like
are
this, they're not
scanning.
really taking any risks. And I think if I was them, like they've won every late game I've seen them on, so they believe in
Dyer's
that.
bottom
Leveler
tower is
on
under attack.
Leslau. That is an awesome item for the right-clicking axe. Very cool. Let's see if it comes to... Oh, Leslie's going to jump in with that Manta style, and
Under attack.
the burst damage coming through. It's not enough. We're going to get the Yule Scepter to come online here. But it looks like Cuckoo will fall eventually. No, Timber Chains with that Lotus Orb, so the Culling Blade not nearly enough. They're trying to kite out 23 Savage. He gets the reflection up. Now Yawar's the one in trouble, gets forced step to the safety. Waveforms to the high ground, still getting right click from afar. Carl with that Dragon Tail keeps them in place. Leslie with a counter initiation. Will it be enough to actually kill Yawar? Getting healed more from the egg to follow with the shard online on LOA. Some way, somehow, nobody has died in this fight. So much sustained from both sides. My God, that's crazy. And Roche is available.
T1, they need to do this Roshan right now. They use Metamorphosis, they need to go.
Ooh, Aghanim Scepter, so likely see that on 23 Savage with the Fear
Yeah, I would
AoE
like that.
spell.
Him or Timbersaw. I think Timbersaw's is
Oh,
pretty good.
Quinn, they pop the Lincolns into the Dragon Tail again, trying to get healed, but it's not going to be enough. Buys back into the game. Initiation now from Leslau. Looks like he's going to drop shortly after a double kill for Cuckoo, and now a double buyback on Quincy Crew. That all rhymed for some reason. Roshan at half HP. Need to reset here. There's 23 Savage. No meta right now. He's going to jump in, though. They're going to try to burst down punt. That's a buyback onto Quinn. Oh, no. Quincy Crew crumbling here, but Leslie with a pretty big initiation. I don't know if they can fight without their position to puck. And you can see all this damage and all this control just going to work. And this looks like the potential beginning of the end of game one. 4 dead for Quincy Crew. Make it 6 if you want to count the buybacks. And they only get the Snapfire in turn.
Yeah, that was a rough fight. I mean, I think T1 pretty much have this game now, but this ward they placed on the high ground. Quincy Crew died. I think they lost
Radiant's
3
middle
core
tower
heroes.
is
Like
under
Puck died
attack.
twice to the same ward, and Axe as well. Carlos, he's threatening to break his items in Quincy Crew's base.
Apparently. We see the Intel replay here. And yeah, that dieback, that ended the fight pretty much. Leslie just a second
Radiant's
too late.
bottom tower is under
He was
attack.
just there a little bit earlier. Maybe Quinn survives, but either way, T1 playing really disciplined here.
Yeah, their late game Dota is phenomenal. They're just really good with map control. I think, I'm not too sure if Quincy Crew are auto sentries or like what happened there, but you can't let a high ground ward be.
At least it's not the rage face from
Yeah.
Although that was a great look, honestly.
That was, you know, it's nice when Dota players show emotion.
Yeah, I prefer that. I'm sick of robots, man. All right, well, that's going to be the bottom racks, and the middle racks will be next in all likelihood. Still 30 seconds without any core hero. So an easy double here for T1. And they can reset if they really want. 23 Savage is the one that took the Aghanim Scepter, so that, like we talked about, gives you the Terror Wave, which provides that AoE fear and then gives you a few seconds of Metamorphosis to work with. But it's going to be Megas, it looks like. And Quincy Crew, I mean, they held on strong for quite a while. It was really even, and it was literally just that fight. That was the game.
It was the same at the bottom one where Quincy Crew had the Aegis on Morphling. Like 2 times now, they've taken big fights into T1's vision, or they've been baited into it.
All right, here's the initiation. Can they blow up the 23 Savage? Oh my god, the Satanic is bringing him alive. Leslau getting beat down in the meantime. The egg does pop successfully, but really not enough damage done from Quincy Crew's side. So 23 Savage continuing to focus on the towers as we see the fear come out, and that's going to be a double kill, taking out Yawar in turn. GG is called. Game 1 to T1, looking just as strong as they were in the Animajor.
Honestly, maybe even stronger. They played a really clean game this game. They just, every single time that there was a fight opportunity, they always played their percentages. They never like really ran in too far.
Yep, for sure. I mean, we get to see the Terrorblade yet again, looking extremely strong, yet continuing to get through in these drafts throughout literally every game through the Animajor and now in this tournament. But yeah, I think T1, I feel like
Dire team ban.
Welcome everybody to game number 2, T1 versus Quincy Crew.
10 seconds
Looking way
remaining.
more convincing for T1 than I remember it looking at the animation. I think they've got their
seconds
groove.
remaining.
Playing on European servers, but on the internet, this is the best of both worlds. You know, you put them in a LAN, and maybe they're a little bit unfamiliar. You know, Cuckoo's the most experienced with them on LAN, but these are still online players. Southeast Asian culture lives and breathes the pubs. And you put them on the internet in Europe with good latency, unmatched. What are you gonna do about it?
Sounds like a game-winning formula. And, you know,
Radiant
pre-COVID,
team back.
Southeast Asia, they love their
Dire
LAN
team back.
centers. They like, you know, they know how to play with some pressure on them. So, yeah, like right now, they're in
Radiant
Ukraine. I
team
believe they're in
back.
the same hotel, just
still
chilling there
there.
for quite some time. And
Dire
cameraman,
team
he really loves Quinn. Because
He does,
Quinn
yeah.
face, you know, if he's angry, if he's sad, it becomes a meme real quickly.
Yeah,
You know, he wears his heart on his shoulder.
he does. My girlfriend actually watches a lot of Quinn's
Radiant
stream.
team pick.
I probably shouldn't say that live on air. The one on Twitch, and that is because of his facial expressions. He's
Radiant
very
team
emotional.
very
Animated.
animated, and it is quite hilarious.
Oh, you gotta be careful about that Grimstroke pairing that they do with a Doom and also Lion double finger. You don't necessarily need to pick it, but you need to ban it in the second banning phase from Quincy, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I wonder actually why they go for the Lion first off. I
10
guess
seconds
respecting
remaining.
Quinn's spirit and puck capabilities.
Yeah, it just blocks a lot of the
5
picks,
seconds remaining.
like any illusion heroes. We've seen how potent he is against the Darkseer, against the Terrorblade, the burst damage, the control, even Spectre, you know, taking care of the illusion business. Lion just feels like one of the strongest heroes right now.
I agree. I think he counters the kind of disengage, slow fight meta that we saw evolve during the Animator, because there just aren't slow fights, as we can see. Speaking of slow, Jack is in the background there saying absolutely nothing, doing nothing. He might be asleep. Sometimes he does fall asleep standing up.
He is known to do that.
He's known to do that.
God, I miss Jack on the panels.
He was great in the green room in the Animator. He was not very animated though for the
Dire
Animator.
team
He was
No.
most of the time
It was a sad time for Quincy, and they ended up going for an illusion hero anyway. They picked
Okay.
up the Terrorblade.
into Lion.
Into Lion, into Doom.
Yeah.
So you need to have a good way to disengage a fight.
Radiant
I
team
would maybe
back.
even cover possibly like a Centaur ban, maybe even a Darkseer, even though like illusions get countered once Aghanim Shard is online for Lion, easily done. But yeah, you want to like give someone X mark on his forehead, like give him that bullseye.
seconds
Focus
remaining.
me instead of focusing the Terrorblade.
Dire team ban.
Yeah, I agree. I think you think the Centaur should be like on the Quincy side, so they can like disengage. From
Yes,
the, yeah, I totally agree. I think some form of disengage. I think Wyvern is a fairly obvious choice as well, just to Winter's Curse and then get out, and then you can always save the Doom target. I would really imagine that it's not going to
10
make it through,
seconds
given how
remaining.
both of these teams have had tremendous success
Radiant
with, especially
team ban.
Whitemon on his Winter Wyvern. Once again, I think this guy just played the best
Dire
Wyvern.
team ban.
Another disengage. Leslau, he played a little bit of Tide Hunter, a worthy Doom target.
Indeed. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Just take the Doom pressure off your carry. One ban still left. I'm pretty sure they will go for the Grimstroke
10
combo if
seconds
it does not
remaining.
get banned out.
Radiant team ban.
They're going to ban out Timbersaw instead.
Okay, so they're expecting a Carl mid Doom, which makes sense. This is one of T1's kind of classic strategies, and an offlane Timber would do extremely well versus some Terrorblade Enchantress, or basically any hero that you can put as a 5 that's currently strong with the Terrorblade will get
10
dumpstered by a
seconds
Timber Sod.
remaining.
We've seen how much this hero does when he has a free game.
5 seconds remaining.
And we'll see if they will end up opting for the Grimstroke. I'm with you. I feel like double finger, double Doom is too hard to turn down. And even though Grimstroke hasn't been too popular these days, it's been a T1 specialty.
Yes, it's just the hero pairings, and right now it's not banned out, so I don't see the reasons why they should not use this opportunity. Just feels strong overall. Like
Unless
might
they
not
want the
be
Wyvern.
the strongest laner.
Maybe they could go for some like Zephyr Treant Protector too. Something like that might be decent because these two heroes kind of want to run around and fight. And having a hero that is mitigating the tower damage is going to come from the Enchantress and TB.
Puck.
I'm going to go for the puck.
So no real lockdown yet by Quincy. Enchantress, Terrorblade, they don't provide any. They need someone to be able to jump. They need someone to control the puck.
A beefy boy too would be good. Somebody to go in and get stuff started. So if you have any hero that can do both, I think the tiny ban was a pretty solid ban.
Earth Spirit.
Knowing Quincy, it might be just like a hero like a Void Spirit, because Quinn loves to play it, and I've seen him play this Void Spirit into puck matchup.
Puck line is hard, though.
It's hard. It really is. I mean, any of the Spirit is hard into Leash Mechanic and the Lion, but you gotta play it. And whenever he plays a Spirit, I'd say he pops off. He understands like his limits, sometimes even go beyond the limits.
Yeah, he's huge on. I think a huge reason that Quincy was able to constrict so many of these NA teams and make the entire region look honestly like trash is because of the spirits.
Okay. This is not bad. I like the approach. A bit more damage, even like Roche taking potential, overall tower damage, and then you have AoE silence against the Lion, against the Puck. Very underrated spells in terms of us talking on the panel about the spell.
Yeah, the Death Prophet Silence is actually one of the best spells in the game, I think. Just huge, long duration, really low cooldown. And both,
huge AoE.
Yeah, massive AoE. Both Lelis and Quinn play this, although I think more often than not these days, it's been Lelis taking the Death Prophet in the offlane. But it's not a bad mid-Death Prophet game, because I think against the Doom, you do very well. If he goes to the jungle and tries to be greedy, you take the tower, and he's a high-strength hero that you can Spirit Siphon down.
Yeah, since they pick Puck, it's an offlane Doom. Or
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, sure. My bad.
They could even run a safe lane Doom, something that Ame ran, I believe, one game during the Major, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then a Death Prophet offlane would look really good there, but they still have this issue of stun, right? They on Quincy Crew, they have the Death Prophet, which is a little bit of disable, and it's better than nothing, but they definitely need something more. Like if they could have gotten a Puck right now, well, they need something tanky as well. They don't have anything that's tanky or stuns. Like a Mars would be really solid.
There's your Winter Wyvern.
Yeah, they opt for that as opposed to the Grimstroke. The heals are just too strong, especially against a hero like Death Prophet.
Exactly. You counter both TB, Death Prophet, even Enchantress. So they need some kind of damage that goes through Winter Wyvern's heal, which they don't have any. I'm really worried. Every single time I see that you have no damage for the heal, you kind of lose the game.
You just lose eventually, yeah, because you can't. They just sit in front of your high ground. That would sustain you. But the Wyvern I really like too against the Death Prophet, because you Winter's Curse when DP ults, you run away, you wait for it to be down, and then you just re-engage. And
you win the great pick. Makes a lot of sense. What else is there in the pool available? And there's the Centaur that we mentioned. Great
Wyvern.
And Puck.
That's interesting. Yeah, these are two traditional counters to the Centaur, because you can't run away from Winter's Curse. You can't run away from the coil. I mean, unless you want to break it, which is not so good.
And of all the offlaners that were popular during the DPC that fell off during the Animajor, I think Centaur is probably the highest. Mars gained popularity, Timbersaw gained popularity, Doom gained popularity. Centaur, not so much.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah, Vanguard nerfs hurt him, as well as just nerfs to his abilities. And
Stampede cooldown got nerfed again.
Yeah.
It's a good morph game, something that Quincy should consider banning out. One of the heroes that 23 Savage really shines playing on. Burst damage for Death Prophet, once you get that E-Blade for Enchantress, even a Centaur. Like, you might not be able to burst him down, but you should have an okay time in the laning stage.
Ban out the Monkey King. Still have Lifestealer available in the pool for 23 Savage.
Lifestealer, I was thinking like Lifestealer or Wraith King, but it's a little weird because these Terrorblade, Death Prophet type heroes, they want to take these long fights, and so any hero that wants to, you wouldn't want a Medusa either into this just because of those long engagements that Medusa would, or that these other heroes would favor on Quincy Crew's side.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lacoste. I think Morphling's looking real promising.
It's looking good. They banned out 2 illusion carriers. They don't have enough like AoE damage, and whenever there's Death Prophet, you want to ban it out. Otherwise, like that exorcism is gonna be a spread damage. You're not gonna go on the correct targets.
You could still, if you want to be a little more on the ballsy side, you could still axe carry against I think it does extremely well versus Terrorblade, who just cannot deal with that pure damage. Satanic doesn't do anything. Sanjin Yasha doesn't feel like it does anything. You can't Sunder because of the Manta illusions, but once again, it is a little on the ballsier side because I don't really see Puck or Doom as they're kind of semi carries. I mean, it really depends on the build that you go for, but it can be a bit risky. If these heroes are not having good games, they don't really feel like semi carries. They can fall off.
And it also doesn't feel like too much of a 23 Savage pickup quite yet.
True. Yeah, that's
Carry
Dire
X.
team
They
pick.
ban out the Silence of the Skywrath and I guess the kill combo with Centaur Stomp, and they ban out the Hoodwink. I still feel like Earth Spirit's pretty good for Quincy. The silences, being able to jump the back line, being able to draw a bunch of focus, make Doom feel distracted.
10 seconds remaining.
And then maybe some magic damage to go through the Cold Embrace would be nice also.
5
They don't have it.
seconds
Like, the
remaining.
only magic damage they got is Dead Prophet Crypt's form plus stun double edge coming out from the Centaur. I don't mind Earth Spirit. Like, it would check a lot of the boxes where you have a backline jumper, you have a stun, a silence, and possible Spirit Vessel carrier against the Vibrant Heal, because these heroes, they don't build into it.
I think it's a pretty good Rubik game too. Just looking at MSS, it looks like he probably wants to play Rubik. He's very bored.
I mean, fours love playing Rubik, but I think only GH found success with it at the Animajor.
Every one of these heroes has something great to steal.
That's true.
And I'm just worried about the lane if they pick an Earth Spirit, either Earth Spirit Centaur.
Yeah, you might be right. Even though I'm not a big fan of it, but
Witch
they
Doctor,
go with
okay.
the Doctor, another hero that, Maledict against the heal doesn't do too much. You have ulti that is physical damage. The value from it.
And the stun doesn't seem that reliable either against a Puck.
10 seconds remaining.
It doesn't look so good.
seconds
It's like a double-edged sword because you do get, of course, a double edge from Centaur as well as. Thank you very much. We'll be here all week. And they do go with the Lifestealer. Okay.
More focusing on the lane, I guess, against the Centaur. Has a built-in BKB. Attack speed against the Enchantress. Again, free BKB. So looks decent. I would prefer maybe if this was a Morphling, because the carry-to-carry matchup is a bit better.
Yeah. It's a really... If 23 starts losing his advantage, it's a really horrible, hard Lifestealer game.
Yeah, you have this like TB, he gets the Scotty. If he loses the momentum with the Lifestealer, playing into Dead Prophet is always going to be a bit tricky. Damage that goes through spell immunity.
Yep.
But I've seen 23 play so many Lifestealer games, and he always heavily focuses on being able to buff up his teammates, make them survivable with the infest during the team fight, something that he has done extremely well during the second season. So I'm putting my trust into 23 Savage Lifestealer.
Yeah, because they also don't have very much burst damage to finish people off on the side of Quincy Crew. They've got plenty of like sustained damage. You got Death Prophet Exorcism, you've got TB, and Maledict, I guess, is the most bursty source of damage. What is the point of the Witch Doctor here, Jenkins? Why'd they pick a 5 position at the very end?
You know, like I was saying, it is a double-edged sword versus the Winter Wyvern. Getting a Maledict off if you have any sort of other damage that goes through the Cold Embrace is pretty good. So, you know, I think it's just that. You should get a big Maledict and kill the target who's Cold Embrace.
Well, let's see how it works out. Again, this is upper division, upper bracket, and so it doesn't really matter too much if Quincy Crew lose here. They will just fall down to the lower bracket, but I'm sure they want to at least push to a 3-game series. Let's see if it's possible with our casters, AUI and Sunsfan.
Hello, Suns fan here with AUI 2000. High five. Good. That was the okay. We're gonna. Thank you. That was the literal worst high five I've ever had in my entire life. I appreciate that. We have a Lifestealer. We have a Centaur War Runner, a Doom, a Death Prophet. Heroes that aren't. Well, Doom was picked a lot at the Animajor, but the other three not so much. Mr. AUI 2000. What are your thoughts on these two beautiful drafts?
I think Quincy Crew's a bit favored in this one. I'm not too sure. They might
What
have
did I say about saying you're not sure? Confidence, young man.
I don't know.
Just fake it till
I
you
just
make
have
it.
less info on them, you know?
On Quincy Crew? Yeah.
Because the matchups too, right?
Oh,
Like these
okay.
pro players, they play the same heroes over and over in pubs in a row. And in my head, I don't think this is a good Lifestealer pick. Like, I don't think it's good versus DP Terrorblade. And I don't even know if it wins the lane versus Centaur Enchantress. I feel like Centaur Enchantress should be completely fine in that. However, if it does win the lane, this hero will be extremely hard to kick out, and he should be able to defend this tower. So maybe that's what T1 were going for. They may have a read on the hero that I don't.
Maybe going for a hero that can fight a little bit earlier
The
and
battle begins.
potentially pressure the Terrorblade, who has to, you know, get that base level of farm.
I could see that.
And we have the Infest Bomb potential. which, you know, into Puck,
Oh, you see
into
it top
Doom.
Cuckoo, he already ate the range creep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sort of cool. Make sure that the lane pushes into Terrorblade, so LA won't be able to do this pulse. Oh, they don't find him. Is that worth it? He spends 100 gold for a TP scroll in order to get the Devour earlier, which gives you 60 extra gold. Nah, it's not bad. You get solo XP as well.
Yeah,
I was
the
thinking
solo
this
XP is
game,
nice.
I would like to see the DP shard, because we were just talking about it. I was theory crafting it in my head, like maybe it's good versus the Winter Wyvern save, because that makes him stand still for 4 seconds. So you use it right when he saves one, they get feared for 2 seconds. That might be pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They probably won't get it.
Probably not. The shard before that, which Carl taking a lot of damage really early on in this mid lane.
Dire's
As his
turret
courier will
has
be
been
sniped
killed.
out by Zephyr on the Winter Wyvern. Yeah, it used to be the minus armor Spirit Siphon, but now that you get that extra charge, it seems like even if you don't get the fear, still pretty value overall. But we don't really get to see it still. I think it's kind of in its infancy.
Yeah, it's probably underrated, but that's the thing. There's so many shards and stuff that changes in Dota. Sometimes you don't get to play them enough to figure out when it's the best time to get these things.
Yeah, for sure.
You see Zephyr, he's pulled the wave around, but this means generally that Terrorblade's going to deny a wave in free farm.
Oh, MSS. Fairy Fire has to be popped there. See the Spirit Siphon from Quinn. Wants to bounce back from that last game, of course. But yeah, let's talk about the lifesteal a little bit more. This is one of my favorite heroes in the game. Against Terrorblade, it's kind of weird though, right? Like we talked about how it could maybe have its aggression come online a little bit faster, but against TB late game, it's definitely not good. Sometimes you see a Maelstrom pick up for the illusion type heroes, but Terrorblade's, I don't know, feels like that would be kind of a, I mean, it's decent with the magic damage, I suppose, but it looks like he is going for the typical armlet build.
It's not as bad as like 4 years ago where you could just thunder him through range.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
There's the tips. I knew that tip was coming.
Wow.
Quinn has been tipped 18 times this series. He's ready to exact some vengeance.
Radiant's
Crypt
middle
Swarm, I think Phase Shift was still on cooldown,
no.
not able to get it off as LOA in the meantime. And taking some Wyvern damage. They will be able to clean him up at the very least, so let's get another kill on the board here. But yeah, back to Lifesteal. Talk to me about this hero.
It's not as bad as when you could thunder through rage, but typically Lifesteal is predominantly physical damage. You can see he's going to go for the phase boots into armlet. And Terrorblade's very high armor versus that. Also, once you get items like Scotty, he becomes really easy to fight. However, if you can get to like some Mjolnir MKB build, you can man fight Terrorblade. You lifesteal a lot on this hero.
So would you go for a Mjolnir after an armlet, or because it feels like Maelstrom is, when you go for that, is typically in place of the armlet? And
Probably armlet into Maelstrom this game, I would say.
Wow, all right.
Honestly, I wouldn't itemize to deal with Terrorblade. I'd let my allies deal with it. I'd go like some armlet Maelstrom into Sans Satanic and like try to tank and frontline for my team. You need a Satanic to remove the DP silence.
And Lazlow taking some right-click damage, but he doesn't care because he's a Centaur War Runner. Whitemon taking some pressure from MSS on the other side. Lazlow, got to be careful with that Ghoul Frenzy AUI. You can't, I mean, the hero has 2 passives, and anytime there's a hero with 2 passives, that means they're strong, historically
Radiant's
speaking.
top tower is
Yeah, I
under
don't know. I
attack.
play ability draft with my friends. You take 3 passives. Literally useless. Though. They're going on to Yawar.
Maledict is applied to Cuckoo. You are getting quite low to the Arctic Burn. LOA is going to take some damage as well as he attempts to run away here. And then with that Splinter Blast, dealing even more damage, Yawar pops the Metamorphosis from the trees, and that's going to force everybody from T1 back for now. And Carl again getting pressure from Quinn. In terms of the CS, Quinn a little bit ahead in terms of just the numbers here. 17, 18 versus the 13 and 5, but obviously that kill being the big difference here.
Yeah, it wasn't just a kill because of the timing when he killed him, he managed to get his bottle and both water runes. So he got the kill and then he fully recovered on resources, which is a big deal. And you can see MSS, he knows his boy Quinn is snowballing, so he comes over and just snags that water rune. And now Carl, he has no sustain. He has a solve, but he has no mana sustain, you know.
Yeah, that costs money. That's not a free rune. Definitely makes a difference. It's
And
Quick
Quinn
Storm clips.
cancels the solve, and Carl, he still doesn't have bottle. This is the complete opposite of last game. Quinn's at 2,200 net worth versus Carl's 1,300.
Yep, Quinn definitely having a good start to this game. I mean, what are your thoughts on Death Prophet overall for a game like this?
It's a good DP game. I think it's not good versus Lion in theory, but it's not that bad as long as you have Stampede to counteract the Hex, right? So you can always find your spacing. It should be good versus Doom. I mean, if he dooms you before you get Siphons and ulti off, it's bad, of course, but DP's one of the better ones versus Doom generally.
Yeah, and what about Centaur though? Because this is a hero that was first pick, first banned during the earlier stages of this patch, and then in the Animator kind of just fell off a cliff.
He's definitely undervalued a bit. I think part of the reason why he dropped off was he's very low damage. I think like even compared to a hero like Mars, he does less damage. But Quincy, I think they have very high damage heroes on their other ones, right? DP, Terrorblade, and even Enchantress have high damage. Even Witch Doctor, honestly.
Yeah, of course. With the Centaur builds, we've been seeing a lot of the max or at least 2 to 3 levels of the return. And obviously with the Vanguard being a big reason for that because that's kind of the item of the patch as well. But I mean, if you could go back to the original max double edge AO, that's when you have damage on Centaur, you see? What's happened to my boy?
More like mid-game lack of damage, to be honest. Because even if you have that double edge, I don't know, it's weird damage. I don't know how to say it. Like, you have to be beside them. It's not casual.
Weird damage?
Yeah.
Is that a new mechanic that I don't know?
No, it's like, it's how I classify stuff in my head, you know? Like,
oh yeah, I want to see more inside your head, please.
No, you don't. It's very messy.
Radiant structures.
I see a
are
Maledict
fortified.
into the cask to
Dire's
follow here, but
structures
just a
are
little chip
fortified.
damage overall. Yeah, I'm appreciating that we're seeing some new heroes. I know that there's going to be a patch probably after this tournament, I would assume, that's going to shake things up a little. I don't know how big it will be, but it feels like I wouldn't say the meta has been solved by any means. I don't think that's literally almost ever the case. Maybe TI4 is the one example that it is, but we've been seeing a lot of the same heroes just repeated over and over, and the same heroes getting through the Terrorblades, the Wyverns, and we're seeing that again, but at least we get a little bit mixed up.
It's sort of weird because if the same heroes are getting through, that means the meta's not really solved in that sense. Because teams believe that they can still beat these heroes, right?
True.
So
Yeah.
there's like, if you have differing opinions, it means the meta definitely isn't solved. But I could see, like, it is a bit stale seeing Metamorphosis every game. You know?
Metamorphosis.
A prize.
Cold Embrace, fully healed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it because I think the strategy behind these heroes is not as boring as some of the other ones we've seen. Like you mentioned TI4. That was a boring strategy, you know?
Yeah, but that was only the tail end of that tournament. It was actually
That's
a
true.
pretty
That
exciting
tournament was
tournament.
very good.
Radiant's bottom
Just
tower
everybody
is
remembers the
under
last few matches, which were quite bad, for
Radiant
sure.
That's true.
No, but I like this patch quite a bit, as we're going to see Maledict into the Metamorphosis to follow. Cuckoo on the run, but he's taking heavy damage. LOA in the meantime, taking some from Zephyr in turn, but the Maledict will be enough to finish off Cuckoo. As you are trying to pressure out Zephyr, but has to be careful here. He's going to get healed up a bit from LOA.
23 Savage is dumpstering this lane bottom, though. I think a little bit is Enchantress had to leave to go get that water in. They start hanging around mid. But I guess that's the read on Leicester. If he does win this lane, like, I don't know who kicks him out. Maybe some rotation from DP and Terrorblade even. Oh, they pop Exo mid.
Yeah, indeed, with that Stampede used, but the coil onto 2. Carl, will he get out? Just barely. The ghosts are chasing, and he's going to live with the waning rift. So very clutch coil there, saving his life. MSS getting extremely low. Arctic Burn is there from the sideline. Zephyr not able to actually find the kill, though. So in the end, nobody dies. Quinn was really low as well. He's chasing Cuckoo now. Yeah, he's going to get healed by these ghosts in a moment. Cuckoo's still not quite level 6.
Here I am.
You see the orb come out. Carl, LOA, gets off the Maledict. Quinn gets a decent amount of healing. Now the Spirit Siphon will help quite a bit as well.
Illusion.
Earth Spike, gonna prevent any more aggression from coming out.
He won't have phase
He
shift
has
in time.
phase shift and bottle charges are coming too, but yep, the Maledict.
Transformation.
Man, Carl, another death for him. So he evaded death and then died shortly after, as we're seeing a stack taken out
Your last.
by MSS's Wild Wing Ripper here.
And pretty unlucky for him there because after the first death, he TP's into mid, right? And now he just died without a TP scroll. So that, oh, here's the tap.
That's a very
That was a
delayed.
very delayed tap.
Quinn, you need to be more, like, he needs to have his mind in the game here.
Yeah.
The mind games don't work if it's delayed.
I will say the mental game in this series has been on point, you know?
Yeah, that's true,
Think-
for the most part.
T1 have identified that the NA teams have a weak mental support structure.
Is that true?
I
Why
mean,
do
EG
you say
lost
that?
of question mark, so I don't know what to say.
That's a good point. But they're technically an EU team, if you think of it.
Yeah,
Well,
when they're-
we'll take them in NA, I guess. But finally, level 6 now in Cuckoo, so Doom available. Zephyr
Dire's top
slowing down a
tower
bit
is
here.
under
Devour
attack.
used on the Enchantress
Radiant's
creep. Now
bottom
MSS, if he takes a
tower is
Doom
under
here, he
attack.
is almost certainly dead. Gonna take a Hadouken instead. And the chase with the Scorched Earth is actually just gonna be enough. Nice casual rundown there for Cuckoo. A 3-2 advantage for Quincy Crew now.
23 Savage is just sort of standing in front of his tower. Leslau, he has his
middle
Vanguard.
tower
I
is
don't
under
think
attack.
like either of these are that unhappy. He is going for the Hood, which personally I don't like. I think having Vanguard and Hood, unless you're like stomping your lane and taking towers with it, doesn't make much sense with. I would rather see him disassemble the Vanguard, and buy a faster hood and then get blink. But we'll see how it works out for him. Like,
So
there's like not
that
much
means you would go
loop
heart
difference.
later with that Vit booster?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe not versus Lifesteer, but I think you can get A on this. Like, Vit Booster builds into pretty stable items.
Radiant-
I mean, to be fair,
is
the
under
feast from
attack.
Lifesteal, the damage that it deals is not like it used to be, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you still
it
get
is
the
a lot
max
less.
HP, but it's a lot less percentage.
For sure.
So I don't know how much you care. Because hard on Centaur does
It
feel
is sick.
very
Like, the heart with the shard, you have like 8k HP.
Oh, God, it feels so good. We have 3 people here for Quincy Crew. If they can find this kill on 23 Savage, it would be pretty big, but also quite difficult to actually find it in the end.
This is sort of funny, though. They picked this Lifesteer to sort of maintain control of this bot lane, but Lezal, he's just going to tank the tower, and the tower's going to kill itself.
Yep. Stop hitting yourself, tower. 23 Savage trying to defend here. We got some reinforcements, though, for T1. 23 Savage already at half HP. Whitemon is invisible right now as the Rage is popped a little bit prematurely. Going to take
Dire's
over
top tower is under
the
attack.
enemy siege. So that push will come to an end for now, although, again, he can just tank it up with that return.
Radiant
And he will do just that, but fortifications pop. They see that Zephyr's in the trees.
Dire's structures
Quinn looking
are
for
fortified.
potential siphon here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Doesn't have a point in silence. Is that
Radiant's
pretty
bottom
typical
tower
on the mid
has fallen.
DPs?
I thought he would have one, to be
Dire's
honest.
top
There's a lot of good
tower
silence
is under
targets. Top
attack.
lane does have 3 range creeps. I'm surprised Quincy Crew are a bit slow on coming up here.
Yeah, this tower took heavy damage. Might actually fall if they're not careful. And yeah, Kuko on the other side gets the Hadouken off. Actually, have literally no idea what the... Probably learned that at some
Dire's
point.
Shockwave.
top
Oh,
is under
that's
attack.
very boring. Something. Oh, that looked like lag.
That looked like server lag, right?
Yeah.
We were lagging as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we'll pause for now as Doom is working a Hand of Midas. This is kind of the typical build that we saw throughout the Animajor. And I mean, we saw a lot of farm Dooms and pretty decent success, I would say, overall as a hero.
Yeah, I think the heroes look good. And I'm honestly surprised that Quincy Crew gave up the safe lane tower. I watched them a couple times in
Dire's top
DPC,
tower
and
has
I
fallen.
feel like they did give up the safe lane tower a lot. There might be some like read that they have on it that I'm not aware of. Because in my head, like, there's no way you should lose that tower after you've taken bottom.
Nope. Yeah, that is true. That is a pretty early tower to give up for... I mean, there's almost no resistance whatsoever.
I will say, like, on Dire's side, I don't think your safe lane tower matters that much. I think Dire's mid tower is really important. And I think, like, Radiant's safe lane tower is more important. Like, even more than Radiant's mid tower, in my personal... Well, maybe they have something on that.
Rage is popped already for 23 Savage. He has the armlet now. So his build that he's going for is Casual Sage into Scotty's.
Radiant's
Scotty,
middle
okay.
tower
Good
is
versus
under
DP, I
attack.
guess. Good versus the heal coming out for Enchantress and Witch Doctor. I guess it's just like the anti-heal meta item, right? If everyone's going for
Radiant
heals.
structures are fortified.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if he switches something up to go for a Satanic because of the Dispel aspect.
Yeah, that's
to
what I
take off
thought he was going to
silence.
go as well. I mean, I like the Maelstrom just to push out lanes because
Radiant's
the pubs I
middle
play,
tower
you don't
is
have,
under attack.
you don't have these teammates on your team where you have Carl just pushing every lane for you.
Dire's top
That's loud.
tower
Tanking up the
is
tower.
under
Now he has to
attack.
tank up a lot of spells. The Doom is there. Coil onto 2 to follow with the Finger of Death. Leslie takes a tumble. And LOA follows suit. So 2 quick kills for T1.
Quinn's team just feeds and he just gets tipped. I do feel like I saw this last game too, though, from Lezal. Like, he feels really strong and he just sits in middle. And T1 just bring all their heroes because you're in the middle of the map. Like, you need to bring more resources than that if you want to make this type of play. It costs on both games pretty heavily.
Yep, he has the hood like he talked about on top of the Vanguard. So we'll be going for Blink next. Of course, maybe feels a little bit safe because he has the disengage with Stampede. But the problem with that, and it is good against these heroes. Like, it's good against Lifesteal, it's good against Doom. But if you get coiled, it's not really of much use.
Radiant's middle
Even
tower
Wyvern,
is
as
under
well. I think
curses.
Wyvern was a traditional centaur counter. You just have the Arctic Burn versus that high HP pool, and you have the curse to lock down that Stampede.
Leslie back in mid. He gets the tower. Actually, it was denied. Nicely done from Zephyr. It might cost him his life. The silence into the hoof stomp, double edge, and the Crypt Swarm. Quinn takes him out. But the deny pretty big.
To be honest, I don't think tier 1 denies are worth it anymore versus dying. It's like 45 gold for each member on your team, and you deny 45
Yeah,
to
but
them.
the mental
The
damage.
mental damage is good.
Yeah.
That is true. It's an underrated aspect of Dota, just doing mental damage to your opponents.
I agree. All right, since we have a small amount of downtime, I want to talk about something that will literally never happen until the item gets buffed. Can we talk a bit
Radiant
about
are
Aghanim
scanning.
Scepter on lifesteal?
I thought you were gonna say Mage Slayer. I was gonna
No,
report
no, 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 no. Okay, this is one of the coolest acts. It's
something
just
happening,
It's not. Oh no.
Just
Something's
kidding. Juked
actually.
you.
Why are you debating me right now?
Scanning.
You can infest enemies. You heal super fast. The cast range on infest is really long. You get like 4 attacks, I think.
I think the cooldown is the most important part. It goes to 20-second cooldown. I
It
think
does everything. It does everything.
it's underrated right now, but it's pretty shit.
Yeah, it's like a 6th item. It's something you get off of
It's
Roche
good
for
with
sure.
Razor. Like you can
Oh.
jump away from the link.
Of Stomp on the other side of the cliff. Do they have the vision? MSS finds them. The silence. Do they have a cancel? Yep, the Yules from Quinn.
He has curse.
So Zephyr, does he actually want to use it here? He's
tried.
actually tried to, yeah.
Did you see
wait,
the
he
Lyster who's chasing that Witch Doctor? If he had a 14-minute Aghanims, he could have infested it in the bottom. That would have been really impressive.
Hell yeah. One of these days, man, it's going to happen. 23 Savage. Looks like Doom actually just TP's out to safety, so he's going to rage up and TP himself out as
The
well.
Metamorphosis.
Yeah, he forces out the meta.
I feel like he was dead if LOA used his death word there. A little bit of miscommunication from Yawa and LOA. Maybe not. I didn't see if his arm that was on or off because you actually can toggle that while TPing.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very little known fact, actually. And it makes no sense why that's possible.
You don't deserve to understand Dota.
I mean,
No one
Invis
does.
as well. Invis, well, as we see here, the replay. Let's see. So let's say he pops Death Ward now. Armlet was toggled already.
I feel like Death Ward does more than 170 DPS to him. Like if he channels it right away, I think he's dead.
Yeah, possibly. But it's not to be. LOA still level 8 right now. But 2K net worth advantage for Quincy Crew.
MSS doesn't have his ultimate. He's 3-3-1 at level 7, and he just hit level 8. I wonder what his plan is with that. I've seen a lot of enchantresses do this where you're not dying to right clicks anyways.
Yeah, like
But-
what are you worried? Like if Lifestealer goes on you, you rage anyway, so you're not affected.
No,
right?
Untouchable works through.
Oh, it works through it now?
Yes, it
Oh,
does.
okay. Was that always the case?
No, they changed it a while back.
Okay. Yeah, when they switched the ult with the impetus, I guess.
Yeah, there's just a lot that does damage or affects you through BKB that you wouldn't expect it to now. Like for example, if you BKB when a Lion or a Lina uses Laguna on you, you BKB during the magic damage delay, like you will still get damaged.
Right.
Sort of awkward.
So can we talk about why this ability is called Shockwave when Magnus is still in the game? You have 2 abilities called the same thing.
You don't deserve to have abilities named different things either.
I see. Okay. I mean, what if you become a Morphling that takes over? How would you get both spells?
This is why they don't care, Suns fan.
No. There has to be a way. There has to be a way for it to happen.
If Doom
And
eats it, I think Rubik can steal it.
Okay.
And
then what? You can only steal one and then the other.
he uses it and he steals it from
Yeah.
Magnus and then
You
he
can't
uses
have-
high APM to use both.
Radiant's
okay.
courier
Yeah, with the
has been
Aghanim Scepter.
killed.
Sure, sure. All right, we have a smoke here from Quincy Crew. 2K lead still. No Roche attempt as of yet. I mean, that's the biggest value for the Untouchable at this point is for the
Dire's
Roshan,
top
I suppose.
tower is
But
under attack.
looks like T1 are reading this. 23 Savage, like we said, it went that Sage. Scotty is next, and he is super happy just to farm right now.
And another shawl coming out for Terrorblade. Probably one of the best tier 2 items for him.
Yeah, the armor loss does not matter for
It
a hero
does
like
not
that.
matter at all.
And Zephyr. Nuzlab's gonna pop the Stampede. We have the Maledict, everything online. Still silence. Cass is gonna be there though. They don't give him any space. A freebie for Quincy Crew.
I think both this game and game 1, Quincy Crew have done a pretty good job of defending their side of the map. Like every time T1 have pushed past the river, they sort of find punishes, but I haven't seen that many aggressive moves from them successfully. I think T1 have been pretty good at holding down the fort. The difference, however, is that last time T1 had the Terrorblade, who was 2,000 net worth ahead of the Morphling. In this game, Quincy Crew's Terrorblade is pulling ahead of 23 Savage and a
Dire's
Lightstealer.
bottom tower
I mean,
is
the other
under
thing we didn't even
attack.
talk about is that this is a Doom game where typically you will have the net worth advantage just in an even game.
That is true.
And they're down 2K, which, I mean,
Radiant
I don't know how you would
are scanning.
extrapolate that exactly. Maybe like 4K down right now, would you say? If it was
I have
a
no
regular
idea.
hero?
Doom's not like Alchemist,
It-
where a
to
lot
a
of your
degree.
net worth is fake, but to a degree, the hero is balanced around that gold mechanism, right? They're just doing Roshan. They have the Witch Doctor kill, level 2, and Centaur with Vanguard Hood. Quinn's not listening to me because I've told him you need to go beside Roshan for Exo to do full damage.
Yeah, that's what you do with DP, right? You get close to a tower just to get the extra ghost damage. We're going to see the pickoff here onto MSS, but creating space for the Roshan. He'll take this.
It's actually like double damage. Exo beside something. It's like within like 200 range compared to that 600 range. So it's a big deal.
I mean, there must be a reason he's doing it. He obviously knows it, right?
No. You don't understand pro players. Like sometimes, I mean, here's the thing. So I know you know this because I did the experiment with you. There's a psych experiment where you have to count people bouncing a basketball and passing it to each other.
Yeah.
Dyer's bottom
And
tower
I had
is
Don't
under attack.
spoil it. Don't spoil it. There's going to see the silence into the hook stomp. Double edge to follow. Will 23 Savage get off? Oh, he doesn't even get the infest off.
Dyer's
There were
middle
creeps
tower
there,
is
but
under attack.
I think he was dead
panicked there a
anyways, to
bit.
be honest. But yeah, that's a good pickoff from him. Really good punish on, 23 Savage. He extends over the river. Quincy Crew punish him.
Yeah, true,
Seems
true.
to be the theme of this game.
But anyway, back to your point about pro players.
Yes, if everyone's ever wondering why pro players tend to miss small things when they're hyper focused on the ultra complex game of Dota, go Google a video about what should I Google?
Radiant's
Like
top tower is under
counting.
attack.
You're the one that told me that.
I don't know.
Radiant structures are
Counting
fortified.
basketballs past psych experiment.
Okay.
And just
sure.
watch that video on YouTube.
It's actually really good.
It's
I
really
recommend
funny.
it as well.
Dyer's bottom
But
tower is
to
under
make this more
attack.
Dota related, I will also say on top of that, after
Radiant's top
owning a team
tower
for a
has
while,
fallen.
and I mean you were on that team, pro players actually don't know every mechanic in the game as well.
And it's not
Like,
even
that's
about
actually
knowing
a
the
thing.
mechanics, right? Sometimes it's just about, like, you have to specifically know such a specific mechanic and apply it.
Net, they actually see Whitemon attempting to TP out now. Do they have a cancel? The Yules again from Quinn. And this will be a Spirit Siphon into a death, so Quincy Crew again with another kill. But like, I'm not saying Quinn doesn't know that mechanic, but I'm saying I think there's this understanding right now in the community that pro players just know literally every mechanic. That's definitely not the case.
No, pro players are very stupid. They play Dota.
Yeah, they're very good at other things. The Zephyr, okay, Curse onto Yawar, but there's a hoof stomp to follow. And with the
Dyer's
Maledict
middle
and a
tower
double
is under
edge.
attack.
Zephyr takes a tumble. Oh, Stampede is there. Carl not able to finish off Witch Doctor for the time being. Gets the coil off only onto Yawar though. And with a lot of these spells expended and still the Aegis online, Quincy Crew have free reign to go on this tier 2.
Yeah, I think they should look to get a tier 2 tower. I would like Yawar to just walk down to
Radiant's
bottom.
bottom
I don't think this
tower
mid
is
tier
under
2 is
attack.
easy to take. Just take the free one so you can take map control with this outpost. Yeah, but anyways, the original point, if you look at that psych experiment, is that when you hyper focus on some
Radiant
stuff, it's really
structures are
easy to miss
fortified.
very blatantly obvious details.
Right.
Even if Quinn does know that he should go
Radiant's
close at
bottom
Roshan,
tower
maybe he's
is
thinking
under
about how
attack.
he can take the engage. Maybe he's making some calls about something like that. It's really easy to make simple mistakes like that when it's hyper complex and hyper focused.
So anytime I'm wrong about something, I'm just going to blame it on being too hyper-focused on something
Yes.
else.
Radiant's
Okay?
bottom tower has fallen.
applies very well to your gameplay.
Dyer's middle tower is under
Man,
attack.
a lot of flame with me today.
That was a
23 Savage able to get that tier 1 tower, pops the rage, looking for the infest on Carl
Dyer's
potentially here.
top tower is
He'll
under
do so
attack.
successfully. Remember, the range on that is abysmally low. I think it's 50 range, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, ultra melee.
on Infest.
Yeah.
Is there a way to make it higher?
Yeah, with Aghanim Scepter.
That's really good.
I am the... Okay, there's a few heroes I'm a master with, AOI. This is one of them, all right? Real life,
Lifestealer.
I love him. Yeah, I love
All right,
this
we can
hero.
play when we get home.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't know.
You are chasing 23 Savage. The reflection is off.
Okay, so 23 Savage, he's changed up his build a bit. Because he's a bit behind, he's going for the MKB instead of the
Okay.
Scotty. I think that's completely the right choice. If you are behind, you cannot itemize defensively. You will literally never come back into the game. You have to be able to surprise your opponents and clutch out a kill with like some single target line disable doom blah 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 damage in order to come back into Dota.
All right, still only a 2K net worth lead for Quincy Crew. Carl takes out the wave, phase shift, blink. Looks like he's fine. Nicely done from him. Oh, Lesla actually gets the blind hoof stop, but there's the cold embrace. Stampede to follow. Looks like they'll just give up Whitemon now. Still, Aegis online for another less than a minute here. Can Quincy Crew get something else? They got the tier
Radiant's
2
middle
bot.
tower is under attack.
Still tier 2s in the top and middle.
I do like, I mean, it's super small, but there's not too much here. So when they got that pick online, you saw Yawar, he had the Aegis, and how he positioned, he sort of like positioned more to the left of everyone, just to give that extra vision.
Radiant's
See,
middle
that's the thing
tower
that
is
pro
under
players, they do
attack.
naturally, but they might forget about the
Dyer's
Roshan
bottom
thing, you know?
tower is under attack.
Yeah.
That is weird.
I think it's the mind that's more weird.
That's true.
Human beings are weird. We're gonna see some mass TPs into the bottom lane. Silence with 23 Savage able to get off the rage beforehand, so just a tad late from Quinn's side.
Very clutch from 23 Savage. Like he calculated DP's been off the map for like 3.2 seconds. I need to rage soon.
Yeah, very true. And this tier 2 tower. I mean, for something like that, is this deny worthy? Do you just leave it up?
I think you should just deny it.
Yeah.
I don't really think tier 2 mid really gives you that much map control, but honestly, it's not a big deal. Killing towers isn't so much about the gold nowadays as it is about map control.
We have a scan into their own jungle, I believe. Yeah, and the follow scan now into the triangle from Quincy crew. Nobody's going to be spotted. Smoke still online for T1. Double damage on Puck. And Carl and company looking for an opening. Of course, with Cuckoo's Blink and BKB, this gives them a lot of options. But the Infest Bomb not going to happen this time.
Is under attack.
And MKB is basically done. Just needs to finish the recipe, about 300 gold away for the Life Stealer. Right, not to bring up Aghanim Scepter again,
oh, no.
AUI, but if you go for the pure right click, it becomes legitimately good. The reason it's not good is because a lot of the items you go for are attack speed based, which doesn't do anything with the Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, I have a friend who rushes eggs on Lifesteal every game.
Oh no.
We just lose the game.
He's not doing it right.
He puts like armlet Daedalus eggs.
All right, I'm gonna make a prediction for TI. Okay. This
muted.
Aghanim Scepter will get micro buffed.
It's gonna get Omega buffed,
and then it's gonna get
trash.
very strong. Okay, we're gonna see it.
I think the buffs it's gonna get are pretty significant.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully, they don't redesign it because I actually do like the idea of infesting an enemy.
If I could have it at 14 minutes when chasing the enemy 5 position, it'd be really good.
So now that the Lifestealer has the MKB, what's the plan here for T1? Go for an Infest Bomb play? It feels like that's pretty straightforward what they want to do. They have a lot, and they have counter initiation with Wyvern ult from the
I would
line.
say they have a lot of single target with Doom and Lion, so they can surprise Quincy Crew's heroes on the side lanes. I think they should play around that. Maybe if they get a really good jump, they can play around the middle of the map, but I think most likely you're going to see smokes towards the sides.
And we're going to see a smoke already here, as Leslau was actually working on an Aghanim Scepter for himself. So the Centaur Ags, the Stampede 40% damage reduction is pretty huge, but still 500 or so away from actually finishing it. So I don't think Quincy Crew are looking for a fight quite yet, especially when he's that close to it. And what other items are we looking for? So Lincoln's looks to be next for Quinn. Just an ultimate orb away, so about 1,000 from finishing that. That's going to be pretty high impact.
MSS has his Holy Locket. Very strong item dispatch.
I like that it's such an afterthought in past patches, and now it's like, yeah, that's...
I've been building that item for a long time on Enchantress. It's really good. Gives you everything you want.
Yeah, for sure. Now, talk to me about this this team fight from Quincy Crew then, because once you get this Ags online for Leslau, that gives you like a lot of great Roche capability as well. You just run right through the cliff. You can disengage with that. Obviously, the damage reduction is huge.
As long as Quincy Crew don't get like 3 to 4 man Wyvern Curse, if they initiate on T1, there's no way for them to lose a fight. Because all their heroes are sort of like, if you go first with the Exo, the meta, etc., then you sort of nullify the effects of Doom. Conversely, like T1, they need to find like pickoffs and side lanes where they get to jump them and get their spells off before Quincy Crew do.
Right.
Dire's bottom tower is
Even
under
if
attack.
like if T1 get the wrong jump, then Quincy Crew will still win the fight. So the execution is easier for Quincy Crew. You also just have a Terrorblade to push out your lanes.
Leslau's ready to go. Got the Ags in tow. And he is quite beefy indeed. Farm slowed down a bit there after the beginning of the game in terms of his start, but I mean, Centaur's not really a hero that's going to be getting a ton of farm throughout the game anyway. And of course, the top net worth on the side of T1 is actually...
Lion breaks the smoke.
Oh, all right, Carl.
No one knows.
On the high ground. Yep, they see the phase shift. Stop. Good attempt. MSS is going to get the slow with the enchant. The courier is actually be taken out by Carl. Looks like he'll get away with it.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Providing
attack.
quite a good vision here. As you can see, 23 Savage actually rages, then goes inside of a creep. Question is, can they counter initiate here? That is a very fast creep indeed. As Cuckoo jumps in with the Finger of Death from Whitemon. That's enough to take LOA out of the fight to start this out. Still has buyback though, so Roche, if they go for it, can still be... Well, actually, the Stampede was used there, wasn't it? Yeah, so 70 seconds, no stampede. That's pretty big.
It's a really cool ward from T1. It just gave them complete control just above the Roshan there. Sort of a sneaky one. Gives them complete control of the fight. And T1, they're just out-positioning Quincy Crew. Like, sometimes he took such an awkward path. His smoke breaks and he's still sort of running forward. It ends up like he's okay because he can always stampede out, but his Witch Doctor ends up dying for his sins.
His sins? Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
He deserves punishment.
Just
you
he
expose
exists.
your backline. The dumb core is always exposing the supports.
And we see Spider Legs picked up. In all of 152 semi-pro and pro matches with the lifesteal this patch, Ags hasn't been purchased a single time. That means we don't have any stats on it, so nobody knows.
That is what it means. you are really good with statistics.
Okay, for the record, I do think it's a bad item.
Yeah.
But it's close to being very good, okay?
Like Mage Slayer.
And the concept is really cool. Same with Mage Slayer, yeah. You are. Metamorphosis, 23 Savage, already at half health. Doesn't have Infest for another 5 seconds, continue to get chased. Whitemon is in the vicinity, so Yawar can't really go any further. It's off the Conjure image. Carl, like he's TPing out. So nothing will come of that other than the Metamorphosis pop. So I think with this, T1 probably want to try to fight here.
They're forced to do Roshan these timers.
Exactly. All right, well, Roche starting to get pounded into, already at half health himself. Cuckoo getting taken a lot of damage just from an illusion. Yeah, but of course, 23 Savage is inside Carl right now. The Exorcism, here we go. He's going to get silenced to start things out. Looks like Quincy Crew are going to secure the second Roshan. That is pretty big, and out comes 23 Savage, but there's the Stampede. He's forced to rage, TP out, will be successful. And Quincy Crew reinitiate here. Do they even want to? The Exorcism's down. Yeah, they will get out with murder here. So Aegis online. That'll be for Yawar. There was a cheese that's going to be on Quinn.
And DP did take the shard.
Oh, baby.
I like that.
Hell yeah.
I don't think it works through BKB. I actually don't know this mechanic.
I highly doubt it works through BKB.
Siphon stays on even if you BKB after it's cast.
Yeah, but Fear... There's no fear in the game that goes through BKB, right? Like what fear goes through BKB? I don't think there's anything.
No, it's only like taunts, right? Like Legion, OT, Axe OT.
Yeah. So yeah.
But I think it's a good concept versus a Winter Raven here, right? Like they both last 4 seconds, and then you get a stun right after.
Yeah, it's one that I haven't yet gotten to see yet actually work. But again, even if you don't get the fear, you get the extra Spirit Siphon anyway.
Yeah,
so
that is nice.
That's, I think, good enough, honestly. You are getting jumped. Doom actually uses his ultimate with the Finger of Death on top. This is just the Aegis, though. Quincy Crew now starting to form up. Trying to respond to this, but not here in time, so... Doom down for another couple minutes. Exorcism up in 40.
I think that was really good by T1. I think Aegis is like your win condition for breaking high ground against so many single target spells. This means that if they can stall the game out until the Finger and Doom again, like you completely reset all that you would have gained with Aegis. I think teams like your Aegis should be with your team. It shouldn't be off alone. You should use it to gain map control. I think a pretty big mistake from Quincy Crew there.
And Carl being very annoying, taking out multiple waves here to ensure that Quincy Crew can't push. And in the meantime, 23 Savage takes out the tier 2 top.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, T1, it feels like despite losing that second Roche, just outplayed Quincy Crew in the last couple minutes.
Exactly. I think T1's their understanding of how to play the map is just better than Quincy Crew's. Like Quincy Crew, they definitely have their strengths, but I think T1 has a beat on that front.
Oh my god. Leslau going for a refresher. So the double Stampede potential. Sadly, it doesn't stack, so you don't get 80% damage reduction AUI, in case you're wondering, but
thank you.
You can... I've actually forgot the Ags gives you an extra second now to Stampede. That's a new addition, I believe.
Also, like at level 20, you have the Stampede cooldown, so it's a pretty low cooldown Agnims.
Yep, that is definitely a good one.
Refresher is a cool item in center, not only for the Stampede, but Hoof Stomp is a pretty good spell. As you get to 25, sometimes you just stun someone for 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a good item pick up this game, I think.
Yep, Quinn's gonna pop the Exorcism. They really want to fight here. Cuckoo jumps in with the Hoof Stomp. Gets off the Infernal Blade, and Quinn takes heavy damage as a result. You can see LOA healing from the low ground as the Lincolns is already popped and the Fortification as well. Wave is completely taken out, and Meta already used as well. It feels like Quincy Crew, I mean, they have to defend this top lane, it looks like. Carl, oh, they're going to try to initiate onto him. Hoof Stomp will not connect. Phase Shift with the Orb. Enchant. Looks like the Cask will connect, but he gets Force Staffed onto the high ground.
Now T1, they completely have a timing here. They have all their spells. They're gonna smoke up. There's no meta. There's no exo. Quincy are looking a bit in trouble here. Despite taking that second Roshan, they lost 2,000 HP on their top tower compared to only 800 from the bottom tower T1.
Yeah.
I think a little bit indecisive. They probably didn't take the Doom timer. They didn't know it was down for like 25 seconds. But regardless, like it's hard to push into these heroes.
And this is kind of the issue with lineups where 2 cores have really long cooldowns that you rely on.
For sure.
As we see the coil, it will be used to get the easy kill here for T1.
Say easy.
Okay, I should never say that when there's an Enchantress in play. MSS getting stampeded with that damage reduction applied as well. And okay, I mean, they trade coil for stampede there, but of course they know that meta is still down and exorcism as well. Now the TP's top.
You see MSS, he's identified a problem. They cannot deal with this puck at all. We saw him like into 5 heroes at the bottom tier 3, just going around. So he's opting to build for a Hex.
Oh.
They do need one,
Okay.
so I like that. I'm just not sure if he'll get it before this game ends.
The problem is they don't have like a blink on. It's not like a blink hex. You have
That's
to walk
true.
up casually and.
But how the puck's playing, he's sort of blinking into you, right? So if you pre-click him, he goes in, he blinks silence, he's just hexing dead.
Okay.
He will die in like half a second to the Terrorblade.
Yeah, Carl doing a really good job of this game, just pushing out these waves and just being an overall nuisance. Has a Dagon, so we've seen this a few times in the Animajor as well. Kind of just depends on the game, but bursting down these illusions. And like
I
you said,
think-
they just don't have a response to him right now.
Single target burst this patch. It's very heal oriented, as we've seen from these like Wyverns, the double Holy Lock and Quincy Crew. If you manage to kill heroes before they're healed, then heals don't do anything. Very high analysis coming. You're welcome.
So heals are strong is what you're saying as the War jumps in. Cold Embrace, not going to be enough. As the damage will go through.
So I like
This
this
takes a tumble.
itemization from Yawar. He was originally going for the Swift Blink, but Lyster has been such a menace on the map. He just goes back for the Basher just so Lyster can't push in these side lanes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, is there any way, is he actually upgrading? He actually is going for Abyssal Blade right away on top
Yeah,
of that. So.
I think that's correct. Swift Blink, it used to be an item, but ever since they removed the move speed, I think it lowered a lot in priority.
I mean, do you think at some point he just gets rid of the Dragonlance and... Oh, I guess he already has the Blink, doesn't he? So probably go for Swift Blink anyway at some point.
At some point, he will for sure. And Lezal, he's also going for the Hex. So they had a full team talk. Like, guys, someone deal with this puck, please. Quinn is molding.
He actually has the best facial expression.
He
I have to
does.
say.
I love Quinn.
It's so awesome.
He wears his heart on his sleeve in a good way most of the time.
Yeah, usually that's not a good thing actually, but for him, I think I would agree.
Is it bad?
Yeah, if you're a real piece of garbage, it's bad. I'm not going to name names. There's a couple people in the community
Dragons?
probably not for the best. Huh?
Nothing.
Nothing. I am not saying anything else. But yeah, T1. And the longer this game goes, who do you favor here in the late game?
And for sure, for a while, I think it's Quincy Crew. Because you just have Terrorblade Death Prophet. It's a very strong dual core.
Oh, Cuckoo, the Shivas jumps in. They want to take out Enchantress, and they will do so. The burst damage is there. Finger of Death.
I was gonna say, like, for a while, it has to be them. But Cuckoo already has Refresher Shivas. So he's gonna get double Doom off. If he can, like, it's very initiation favored. Like, if he dooms them before they get meta or Exo or Spirit Siphons off, then T1 will win the fights now.
Right. Yeah, Doom is always that wild card, it feels like, in these late game situations. Oh, see the Rage. Actually, that is a shard for 23 Savage, if I'm not mistaken. That's an open wounds indeed. Stampede is used, so mitigating a ton of damage here, but will it be enough to actually get away? Not with the Infernal Blade and the Infest. Leslau is donezo. Yawar has the spider legs, already popped the meta and BKB, and will have to retreat. And again, the timing, T1. All they have to do is wait for this meta now. And they can, I would assume, try to go high ground.
I feel like it doesn't matter to heroes. T1's idea of how to play the map is just better than Quincy Crew's. And Quincy Crew, they can pull off clutch fights because they're really high skill players. But constantly, when they step to a position, they just gone too far to mid lane. T1 has punished them. I don't see Quincy Crew really setting up for the same type of ganks, like pushing into side lanes and getting plays this game.
Yeah, but really cool to see Lifestealer, Mr. 23 Savage getting the shard. So
Almost
open
an
wounds. What's that?
Almost an egg.
Yeah, almost halfway there. But, yeah, open wounds a little bit different than it used to be. First of all, it has good range, where you had to level it up last, like the original incarnation, and the fact that you get max HP percentage damage per person that hits the target. It's actually really strong at taking out super tanky targets like the Centaur, but it is easily dispellable if you have anything like that, which, you know, we can see Lesla does not because
Yeah, because he's going for Hex, so there's no Lotus Orbs anywhere.
yeah. Oh, 22 Savage has to rage. LOA taking heavy damage, and he is going to get bursted down again from Whitemon. And they're going to apply the coil only for the Enchantress alone, but it'll be worth it for them. 5 versus 3 advantage now.
No meta.
Yeah, still no meta. Exorcism is up, but there's no way they're going to pop that without their full force behind them.
Dire's structures are
I
fortified.
feel like the last 4 Metamorphoses haven't really led to any kills. I don't know if it's like a lineup issue or a comms issue. Maybe T1 just outplaying them with vision.
Dire's top
But it's looked hard for
barracks
Quincy
has
Clue to get picks onto any of the T1 cores.
Yeah, for sure. Leslau gets off the hoof stomp. Yuar with the Abyssal Blade. They will be able to get the support here. But there's the Doom from Cuckoo onto Centaur himself. Yuar pops the BKB, but Cuckoo pops his own as well. Shiva's, along with the Refresher Orb, activated. Looks like they'll be able to clean up Leslau pretty easily here. Quinn already gets off the Exorcism in fear of getting that double Doom, which is still available here. 22 Savage in that rage form. Does have Infest up as he is taunting away. One of the best taunts in the game, by the way.
Do you have a taunt tier list?
I literally do, actually.
Okay.
And it's top 5.
Nice. Everything's top 5.
It's literally top 5.
All right.
What do you think the best taunt in the game is? I'm trying to remember what I actually picked. I know the top 3. I just don't remember what the order is.
The Shadow Fiend one's really annoying.
Nope. I agree, though.
Sorry.
It is annoying.
So another EXO, like these big spells from Quincy Crew, they just haven't been able to secure any kills. You have Enchantress Witch Doctor support. Your mid doesn't really go on in. It's pretty much all on Leslau, and they've been kiting him really well.
Sadly, we won't be seeing the Aghanim Scepter on the lifesteal of this game because there is a Refresher Shard on
Yeah, he would have taken
Rojan.
it for sure.
Yeah, there's no way he would have taken either. That's the sad part, the sad reality for my life. 12k net worth lead for T1, and this might be the last-ditch effort for Quincy Crew. They have to deny this. Buy back onto Leslau. Remember, has the Stampede available, can walk through
Full
terrain
smoke
here.
around. They might find a Wyvern
And smoke
first.
is actually going to be popped, but Zephyr doesn't realize it's been popped. We get the silence coming out. There's the Abyssal Blade from Yuar jumping in onto Whitemon. Will it be enough? The heal with the Infest is enough to keep Whitemon alive for now. And you see the coil onto 2. The first to die is LOA. Buys back into the game, though. Doom applied to Yuar already, but all he can do is right-click and try to run away. It finally will end. He has his Sunder available. Might have to use it on a teammate if he's not careful here, but MSS in the meantime just getting beat down by 23 Savage. Silence applied to Yuar. Still can't get that Sunder off. He's getting very low. Finally does so. Now gets full HP as we see 23 Savage beating upon Quinn with that open wound. Just so much damage. Double kill for him. Now Yuar with the spider legs onto the low ground. Feels like he is just going to drop one way or the other. The initiation from Whitemon. Just too much for Quincy Crew to handle. And this will be the 3rd Roche for T1.
They're just getting outplayed in team fights. It might be a lineup thing. You can never really tell.
Roshan has fallen to the ring.
The high cooldown ultis just didn't do anything for Quincy Crew this game. They played a really solid early game, and it didn't really transition into anything. This felt like.
Yeah, that was a pretty good silence there too, because Yuar was
That was a
definitely looking
huge
for the Blink
silence.
Thunder.
Yeah, it was a bit weird because Witch Doctor walked up, and again, like they go for the
Dire's
smoke play,
middle
but he had no
tower is
sentries,
under
so Lion just gets Glimmer caped.
Look at this.
Enchantress
for
isn't close
Cuckoo.
enough.
He has Arcane Blink and 2 Refreshers.
Oh man.
That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. It's 23 Savage
middle tower
taking
has
out that
fallen.
tier 4 successfully. We have the double buyback from Quincy Crew, but they know that there's no meta right now. There's not too much to fear. Oh, okay. Coil again onto MSS. He's just going to heal through it. That might provide a little bit of space, but here comes Cuckoo with the Doom again. But there's a Stampede to try to counteract this, but the Yules keeps him in place. And into the stun from the Lion. That means Quinn will take a tumble. 110 seconds, no buyback. And this looks like a 2-0 for T1 in very good fashion for them. They looked extremely strong here.
Yeah, just really smooth gameplay. They understood that even though you're against terrible DP, like I thought that would be a bit scary to go into late game with, but they just had confidence in their players, and once the Refreshers and Doom come out, like can't contest them in team fights.
Yeah, this was extremely well executed from T1. I was expecting 3 games based on how close their original series at the Animator was, but T1 looks extremely good right now. And I actually forget, they're still in the hotel, I'm guessing, right? They both are.
Yeah, I think both teams are.
Yeah, so
they're just tipping each other. They're gonna see each other at lunch, have a little fisticuffs.
yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, Quincy Crew's practice room is in the food room as well.
It is.
It's the same room.
So they can wait for
definitely
them.
will. Yeah, they can wait for them. They can't go anywhere, for sure. But yeah, this was a very convincing win for T1 as they continue on in the upper bracket. In case you were wondering, by the way, AUI, the top 3 taunts in the game. Number 3 was Tide Hunter.
That's a good one.
I actually can't.
5 seconds remaining. OG's turn to ban.
О, я на пуже поиграл. Это же my signature.
You need to be like a shark.
Radiant team ban. OG's turn to ban. Radiant team ban.
I mean, if any team should be familiar with that, it should be Nigma, with originally Weeha coming to mid and Miracle, a former mid laner, turning to carry.
True. Yeah. I think a large part of these roles have kind of merged over the last few years for whatever reason. I think people have just gotten a lot better at the game, and so other than like maybe the carry axe, which is more of a sort of offlane hero, I think a lot of the time these mid laners can switch to the carry role, and maybe vice versa is a little bit harder because the mid requires a lot of high skill, like individual laning things, but definitely mid to carry I think is a decent transition.
I think of the Venn diagram of heroes, mid lane probably has the most overlap, because we see in the previous series we saw Carl playing a lot of offlaners in the mid lane, so a lot of Dooms, Sand Kings, DKs, or now DK's an offlaner, formerly a mid laner. It's a lot of versatility that comes out from that role.
But also mid laners, everything always kind of evolves around them. They're in the middle of the map, so they're going to know exactly what fours need to bring to them, how they need to help the offlane. Like, I think from mid lane, you do need to know most of the aspects of kind of the first 20 minutes for all roles. So you kind of, if you do transition, you kind of have the hidden thoughts, but oh wait, if I play 3, I need to think of, do I need to force my mid to my lane? If I play off lane, can I actually play a more strong off lane so that I don't need to help my mid? I think mid lane does kind of just have a lot of parallels with these roles.
Let's see what parallels we can draw from these two drafts. One that immediately stands out to me is OG do not first phase ban the Invoker, which has been consistent since probably playoff brackets from Nigma in the Animajor. Everyone's always banning out the Invoker. OG decide that Phoenix and Lion are higher priorities, and Nigma will ban out the Paktia, Invoker, and Axe picked up, and OG pick up the Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, an important thing to note with OG throughout like DPC, when they play up against teams that have their favorite heroes, they often wouldn't instantly ban them out. They'd look to try and ban out enabling factors that give that kind of hero its prominence. So for example, with Invoker, like banning out a Lion is a great support to always set up and join in the early fight. So they're just taking away things that they respect more than what everyone else is banning. Try and break the kind of trends that you have against teams.
And I think that makes a lot of sense, because when you think about all of the Nigma heroes that you need to play against, there's like the Enchantress, Kuroky was going beyond godlike in every game. There's the Invoker, where other like literally Nigma themselves got cited as saying, this gets banned out, like they didn't know how to play. They were basing a lot of their matches off of this hero. The Axe, which does get picked up on mind control, so there's a lot to take out. So you may as well just take out the supporting cast.
Yeah, and the key thing here now is Nigma, because they go the Invoker, the Axe, they already demonstrated earlier that the Axe can be both offlane and carry. And I think the key thing is OG instantly lock in the Void Spirit. Currently, Topson is riding the Echo Saber, trend, and he will just happily most likely play into this Invoker in the mid lane. Will he go for the Echo Saber, then disassembling that into BKB Orchid?
He will.
Yep, he most likely
It's
will.
Topson. I mean, I feel like OG is just this team that they're just like a testing grounds for new ideas. And that's and it doesn't matter if they are horrible or if they're god tier. Like they will literally like burn things to the ground to figure out whether or not something works.
I mean, look at him. He's looking, suave and sophisticated with the oof.
He's got his serious glasses on today against Nigma. He does not want to lose it. Oh, okay. We start talking about it. Of course, it's a caster curse in effect.
Oh well.